Live from New York. It's Friday night. It's time to party. I'm your excellent host, Matt Rappaport, and I do not have beer. I have coffee. And you're like, Matt, why are you drinking coffee? It's Friday. I wonder why. I need the energy. So this is an impromptu hangout on air. I missed doing on air, as I haven't done one in a little bit. My own, I should say. I've guested on plenty of shows. I know Dan McDermott's Google Plus Week is happening right about now. The Funk Soap Brother, check it out now. And hey, what's up? Welcome. Hey Scott, how are you doing? Welcome. I'm just hanging out. It's not really a show. Just wanted to get it on air. And
hey man, how you been? I'm just Fridaying.
Friday.
Hair forming.
I'm in love.
I'm trying to get a good fro going. I want to look like Spike from Cowboy Bebop.
Sweet.
Or,
your pro's pretty sweet.
It's getting there. But I'm either that or I want to be the aliens guy for Halloween. And I can almost pull that off now. I would just need a lot of like dippity do or whatever the fuck.
What about little Weird Al, right? He had one of those, right?
No, he did the perm thing, didn't he? He had like the wicked ass perm.
Yeah, the wicked ass perm, but he had the same length, the same volume, I think. No?
Well, I got this like hassle hair. My term, because I got German. It goes all Hasselhoff.
Don't Hasselhoff, Paul Hanna. Cool. Yeah, joining us. We're just hanging out. I don't know how entertaining this will be, but whatever.
You get one of these yet?
I did not. How is it? Tell us about it. Which version is it? The LG?
I got the LG. I got the LG because I've had this Volmer handmade mesh band in Germany for like 10 years, and I had nothing to put it on. And I measured. I'm like, oh shit, that's 22 millimeter. And I'm like, I'll get the LG in white gold so that it matches. And because I don't like plastic bands, I think they suck. It's like plastic on a phone. Why would you do that? So
how has it improved your life so far?
You don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. It was like, it's a $200 novelty. If I don't like it, I'll throw it up on Swappa, right? You know, a couple bucks. I want to experience it. And I had an idea for an app that somebody else already took. So it takes three widgets disappeared off my phone because of this thing. And I got home yesterday from work, and I had 93% battery left because 90% of the time now I'm using this instead because it's right here. You're typing, you get a notification, it buzzes a little, you turn your wrist, you go, oh, I don't care about that. Da, 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 da. So it saves you a lot of time, so you don't have to like pull your phone out of your pocket, right, unlock it, take a look. It's right there. And you don't think that's going to be that big of a deal, but it's just so...
How long have you had it now?
About 4 days.
4 days, and the battery life on the watch?
If you set... I did it. That was one of the first things I did because I get really pissy about battery life. Like this thing, the phone I use now is the Xperia Z1 Compact from Sony because it has ridiculous battery life. Like I had the Moto X, and it had a really good battery life, but this beats it. And I love this phone. It's just a great little phone, and it's smaller too. I don't like massive phones. So, and it's waterproof. I've already dropped it in a toilet, so it already paid for itself. But
hey, Karen Nelson said, "Hey, hello, is this thing on?" Hey, Karen Nelson.
Hi, Karen.
It is on. It's good to see you. Yeah, I always tassel between the Q&A or the comment tracker, but you have to set up the comment tracker. I didn't feel like getting the links and being lazy, but hey, Karen Nelson, thanks for joining us. And you, that was whose phone? Is that you?
Yeah, old 4chan reference.
Nice.
But battery life on it, if you turn all the shit up the whole way, turn the screen up the whole way brightness, tell it I always want my screen on, because what it does is when you put always on, it does this fallback mode where it just does black and white, and then you tap it and it lights up, and then you get your cards, which is cool.
And it seems pretty fast.
It's quick. It is. It's really quick.
Is there ever any loading issues? Do you ever?
This appointment just showed up on it. That's why it was.
Yeah, everyone that has the watch was like, holy crap! I was invited to a random hangout in a random time and a random night.
Yeah, I've got the other thing that the main thing that's on here right now though is I'm power watching. I took a break from it. I had to. Hemlock Grove season 2 popped up on Netflix today, so I've got a little Hemlock Grove icon here, and if I tap it, it'll play the next episode.
Cool.
Oh, cool.
Eric Stanley, welcome to the Merv Griffin Rappaport. No, I have no idea. It's just the hey, ever see the Seinfeld reference? It's the Merv Griffin show. Not really, not so much. He doesn't look too amused.
Conway Twitty.
Yeah, but Scott was just telling us about he's got the LG watch, and Eric is gone. All right, impressive.
I have to say, no, you asked about battery life. Sorry, I'm tangent hopping.
Yeah.
I haven't. I'm way too sober right now.
Yeah, me too. It's all right.
Think right.
I'm drinking coffee on a Friday night, so.
That's good. You got to do some studying.
Internet studying, yeah.
But
Hemlock, yeah, you jumped to Hemlock Grove, which we'll get into. I think we can talk about Netflix and television, but really, let's the LG watch. So people are excited about the watch. The glass was first. Everyone was like glass, and then people were using it, and they were. But then the watch is more feasible price-wise and style-wise.
I like glass. I actually had someone basically just give me a pair for free, and I got offered a pair for free through a thing, but the workflow of glass wasn't for me. I couldn't adapt to that, and I couldn't. And it didn't have a killer app. It didn't. I mean, it had Google Now, which was cool, but and I liked it. And I'll ferociously defend anybody's right to use it as a new technology because you can't fuck with people for doing something new, or we would never progress. So I'll strongly support the glass users, even though it's not for me. But right. I think this is better than glass. I do, and it's just because it's so simple. And what it does is it takes all of Google Now and moves it to your wrist. It's there. You'll never use it on your phone again because you have no point. I can just go, okay, Google, and I've got it right there, and I can just talk to it. You'll stop sending text messages from your phone because it's so much easier to just tap your watch and start talking. Okay, I'll be home in 5 minutes. Boom, it's gone. That's all you have to do. Somebody texts you, SMS, Hangout, whatever. All you have to do is tap reply and talk, and then forget about it. Go away. It just does it, sends it, does it consistently, perfectly, beautifully every time. It takes all of your notifications. Every single notification you get on your phone is now here. All of them. All of them, even weird shit. I play a game called EVE Online. It's a space shooter game, and in the game you do offline training. You tell your character, train astrophysics for a week, and it'll do it. I actually got a notification earlier that my training queue was under 24 hours. I was like, oh, cool, it does that too. So like every single notification that you get in your phone. So your wrist becomes your notifications. It becomes knowing what the weather is, it becomes looking for tickets, and I guess even paying for airline, it'll throw up the code for you. It'll keep your little tickets. Like we went to the Kennedy Center, which is just a couple blocks from me, to the Eisenhower Theater to watch a show called Sideshow about these conjoined twins and their horrible life.
Yeah, I know it. It was on Broadway. Yeah.
Yeah. We went and we saw Sideshow, and like. I didn't have to do anything when I walked up to the ticket thing. I just glanced at my watch.
You've only had this watch 4 days. You've already used every use case.
Oh, I review the shit out of things. I don't fuck around. I find everything I hate. I can tell you what I hate about it. That would be the most.
Hold that. We'll get back to what you hate about the LG watch in a second. But I just acknowledge I'm having issues with the comment thing. But Miki Torres says, "Are there pants?" I think we're wearing pants, and
it doesn't matter. I'll lie and say I am.
Yeah, we're lying. We all are wearing pants. Doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Come in, Miki. Tried the link, and Eric couldn't understand. He said, sounded like Peanuts' parents' voices. Oh, I get what he... like the squiggly. That was... Peanuts' parents or Peanuts' teachers. Hey, Wolf, how you doing? How's your Friday?
Hey. Hi, Matthew. Oh, I'm pretty fine. So it's weekend.
Weekend. You can't be better than that. Yeah, Scott's telling us about his LG watch. He's going to tell us what you hate about it. But so far, it sounds like... He's had it 4 days. It sounds like you pretty much like it. It makes your life better. You use your phone only for phone calls now, right?
It's the only thing I use my phone for is phone calls, and then if you have secured applications, like I have an app just for corporate email, and it requires a passcode, so you only get part of the information. It'll let you know you got an email, and it'll let you know who it was from, which is enough. That's enough to go, fuck that guy, and ignore it, or go, oh, I need to look at that, and then pull my phone out. So it like screens my corporate email for me, which is cool. But if it's Gmail, you get the whole thing. You can just scroll through it. What I don't like about it is the screen is horrible in the sun. But you had asked about battery life, and I want to go back to that tangent before I forget. If you turn everything up the whole way, I did it 2 days in a row to make sure it was consistent, because I used the hell out of it. I had 40% battery left after waking up at 6 in the morning and getting home at 6 at night. So after 12 hours of very heavy use, I had 40% battery left, which is enough. As long as you remember to put it on a charger before you go to bed, if it's got 1 day battery life, whatever the device is, realistically you're cool. It'd be nice to have more. Like I've got a pair of headphones coming in that have 40 freaking hours. They're Bluetooth headphones, and that's just like, oh, I can totally like fall asleep with them on. Cool. But you don't need that with something, you don't need it with a watch or even really a phone. As long as the phone lasts all day, you're cool,
So I got one of those 9,000 charge things, so I will never run out of battery. Yeah. So because I thought about a charging case, and I was like, I don't really want a charging case.
When I had an iPhone, I had a charging case, and I can't remember who made it, but I loved it. It made the phone bulkier, but it actually made it more comfortable in your hand. The iPhone, I'm sorry, it's kind of sharp. It is. It's
I mean, and I love all the Android users, but I have an iPhone, and I haven't. No, I don't use Mophie. I'm saying I bought an actual case that is. I don't have it. It's on the table, but it's 9,000 volts, and it's really bulky, and I carry it around in my bag. I don't carry it in my pocket, but it's nice to have because otherwise I'm running around the city with an outlet trying to find plug to plug in the last 10 years, whatever it was, with my plug. It's nice to now just have it, and I can just plug it in. Karen?
We got like, I think 5 of those in the house, and it's because you met Jen. She's like a quasi-famous Ingress player now. She's on if you go to the Wikipedia page, Jen's picture's there for Ingress.
Oh, yeah? Ingress? Hey, Nick. Yeah, Ingress, I didn't know there was an Ingress Hall of Fame.
Yeah. If there is one, she's in it. Yeah. She's in it. So she's got like the anchors. She loves those to death. We've got a couple of those. And they're like ridiculous 15,000 mAh, and then we've got these little ones called lapels, which is what I take when I go anywhere. Like I went to Chicago recently. I took it with me, and they're tiny little things. They're called moonstones. They're cheap. They're attractive, which is weird for utilitarian tech. Usually, when tech is useful, it's very Soviet bloc or ugly. That's sort of like a running theme. So it's weird to find, like Lacey, for example. A portable drive, it shouldn't be as pretty as Lacey's are. It's that kind of thing. So it's almost like Lacey made a portable charger. So if you want something that's stylish that would look okay with a 3-piece suit tucked into a breast, I recommend the Moonstone from Lepow, L-E-P-O-W. They're cheap, cool. They're great, they're good looking.
Speaking of good looking, Karen Nelson talks about the glass is dorky looking, and that's why she wouldn't wear it. She says she wishes she had glass sometimes. When she sees something awesome on the fly, she wants to get it, but she's always too late to take a picture of it or wait, I read that wrong. Basically, she's saying she doesn't have glass, but she says it's too dorky. I guess it is it's interesting. I've seen like attractive people wearing glass on the street, and they're still attractive wearing it, but I don't know. I don't know how dorky it really is. Do you think? Nick, what about it? Do you think the glass looks dorky on people?
I think it depends on who's wearing it. I think Amanda Rosenberg is really pretty, right? I think she's a pretty person, and I think she looks gorgeous wearing glass. But then I've seen people that are wearing glass, like say Robert Scoble in a shower, and when
Robert Scoble doesn't necessarily look pretty without it. Sorry, Robert, but I mean,
No, I think Robert's great.
It was cool, yeah. Thanks, Karen.
Yeah, but the newer form factor is marginally better. You could make it look like a standard pair of shades, but until it's as inoffensive as a pair of Ray-Bans, like if they could get Ray-Ban to do.
I thought they had some kind of. Didn't they? Is that in the works? Aren't they? I thought they connected with Ray-Ban or something like that. But I think it's the price thing. I really think it's that people are priced out of glass, and it's just not.
People tend to bitch about things that they don't want to spend $1,500 for. People are justification machines. If I can't do something, I don't want to admit the real reason is I don't want to drop $1,500 on it. So I will find other reasons that support the conclusion that I've arrived at.
Right.
Yeah. People, that's how humans are. We're that way. So I think that's a lot of that. But there was a very, very aggressive anti-glass campaign that came out of Redmond from the whole Scroogled campaign by Microsoft. Yeah. I can't remember the name of the guy, but it was the guy that came up with the term glass holes. That guy was linked to Microsoft. So I mean, most of the glass, the whole glass with a Ghostbusters cross out through it thing, that all came from Redmond. They're
So basically, Microsoft hired them to destroy Google things. Is that what?
Well, they do that for most of Google stuff. There's a law firm in DC called Patent Boggs that is basically on Microsoft's permanent retainer, and they're the ones that started the AstroTurfing campaign to get them put in front of the FTC for.
Is there any evidence that these things are linked to Microsoft or to Redmond?
Oh yeah, they've gotten caught. There was evidence. The big one they got caught with. Well, there was the big scandal. Facebook got caught first, and then people started looking into it. Facebook got caught hiring, I can't remember, Addison something, to do a push poll. Segoyan, who works for EFF, got approached by this PR firm. Asking him to sign his name to an anti-Google story, and it got tracked back to this Marsteller Bernstein or something like that. It got tracked back to them, and then they had to admit that Facebook hired them, and Facebook had to publicly apologize. But then they dug into it deeper, and they found out that Microsoft had hired grassroots enterprises to create a fake consumer group called Consumer Watchdog. That's ballsy. Their fake consumer group is called Consumer Watchdog, and all they do is badmouth Google. That's it. That's the only reason they exist. And the creepy thing about it is, you'll go to CNET and you'll be reading a story from an author. You're like, I love a lot of tech writers, and a lot of my favorite ones work for CNET. And they'll go, and what's his face at Consumer Watchdog? I'm like, oh my God, they're quoting these people, and they don't know that they're hired. They're hired AstroTurfers. So there's I mean, you're talking about an industry with hundreds of billions of dollars on the line.
Right.
Somebody's going to cross an ethical boundary.
It's like politics a little bit, definitely.
It's exactly like
same thing. It's amazing to me though that Glassholes, you're saying, did come from this firm. That Glassholes, I mean, it was so catchy, right? That it stuck. I mean, even if you're like, oh, I don't like, people aren't Glassholes and da da da. I think anybody that has glass, anybody would have to admit that it's a clever play on the word glass. I mean, it's a clever. For sure, but I think it's unfair for sure, and I think like glass is so new, and the fact that there's so many products out there that get trashed on, probably the watches are being trashed on, right? Already.
Here's the weird thing about the watches. I haven't really seen anybody just drag them through the mud. The Galaxy Gear, the earlier one from Samsung, yes, that one took a lot of flack. But, I mean, Samsung was begging for it. They made it only compatible with their device, and it was laggy, and it was buggy, and it had horrible battery life. Boom, right away. It's like, what is my compelling reason to want this thing, unless I'm a Samsung Knight, and it's my, I live and die for Samsung. So that device took a lot of shit, and it wasn't necessarily deserved, but I understood it. These I haven't seen anybody.
Now, were you wearing a watch regularly, or before you had the smartwatch, or no, not for a while? I mean, did you wear like just a regular? Remember the days of the Casio watch and the Timex and there you go.
This Breitling Cosmograph. I'm 42. I don't look it, but I'm 42. So I come from. Thousands of years ago, when the
I'm younger than you, but I'm younger.
What should I say? I'm from Stone Age.
You should, Wolf. Well, your name is Wolf, so it matches.
I'm used to. I got ruined. You get used to the weight on your wrist, and then you feel naked without a watch. So I had this cliche sort of like Norman Rockwell moment with my grandfather when he gave me his watch when I was like 7 years old.
Oh, it's like the Pulp Fiction Christopher Walken moment.
Yeah, it was a watch.
Your father gave me this watch. As long as it wasn't up anyone's rear end. All right, we'll get back to the watch. I see people. You know what's interesting? What's interesting about Hangouts? Maybe it's Friday, maybe it's nighttime. You could plan and hang out on air forever in a day. You could have Alec Baldwin. You could have Playboy Playmates, or maybe not Playboy Playmates, but you basically can have this big show and nobody really kind of shows up. But you just do random. Right now, it's on, and bam, it's in everyone's face, and all of a sudden the response is pretty good. So I wonder if that's an algorithm thing or that's a people thing or.
I've got a theory right now. Yeah. It's like Adult Swim. It's like Everybody Swim. You put the
because I came in.
Like anybody can play. So
Right.
it's inclusive. You did something inclusive. So if you were interviewing Alec Baldwin, what the fuck are my chances that I'd be sitting on camera going, "Hey Alec, I hated you in that movie right now"?
Well, because if you did that, he would hit the X button, and then we would lose the interview. That would be the end of that.
Yeah. So this is accessible. You're a quasi celebrity, you know.
Quasimodo.
Yeah. No, you know what I mean.
No, I know, but I want to.
Very famous people, but I've met you and I know you're a cool dude. I could see, but what you've got represented here is you've got a bunch of people that go, "Oh, he's a cool dude," and don't have that because there's a star fear. You wouldn't just walk up on Brad Pitt if you saw him on the street and go, "Hey, what kind of phone is that?" or whatever. You wouldn't do that because
I might.
Well, you might, but I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I walked by Jon Stewart on the street here, and amusingly, a couple days later, I walked by Colbert. Walked right by him in the street. I was just like, I knew who they were, and I was just like, that. And I get into my head, it's like, if I was them, I wouldn't want me bugging them. So I just leave them alone. Or if I do see somebody famous like that, because I'll see it. A lot of newsy type people. I actually walked right past Rupert Murdoch once too. He was at the Uptowner getting a sandwich.
Nice. You know, I think the thing is that like when you see a celebrity, you see someone you know. Nick's putting some music things in the chat box, which if he gives me a thumbs up, I'll let everyone in on. But if you see a celebrity, this is my course of action. If I see someone famous on the street, my action is I don't want to be annoying, but I want to kind of say something because I feel like I'll never get that chance again. I had that one chance to do it, and then I probably won't ever get it again.
I have a standard thing that I say in that situation, and if I am going to say something, I go, "Hey, thank you," and that's usually all it is. If they give me a quizzical sort of thing or whatever, I'll go, "I like your work. It's really good. Thank you," and that's it. That's all.
Yeah. And usually you don't know what's coming, so it's one of those things where you see the face, you're like they're moving, and you have that like, do I know, is that person like Paul Dano? Not many people know him. I was going to the subway, he came out, he was I don't know if you saw 12 Years a Slave or There Will Be Blood and Little Miss Sunshine. He was the kid in young man in all of those. He was evil in 2 of them. And I just said, "You're awesome, Paul," and he turned around and said, "Thanks, man." And then he went on his way. That was it. So, I mean, because he's not looking to have a conversation. Yeah, that's interesting. And also, Lance Fields. Hey, Lance, said he happened to be online. He saw the post. English Atkins. I'll be in the middle of, hey, English. As the hover card just blocked my comment. I just got comment blocked by the hover card. Did it ever happen to you? I'll be in the middle of getting a huge Texas-sized brisket ready for the oven. I would love to have some of that brisket. I had some pho today. That was good. Cool. Mort Oakley. Dan, I'm just heading out to pick up cats after our vacation. We'd have fun. Yeah, so Nick had an interesting theory, too, about Friday. Maybe people are getting home from work or they had July 4th. They're just chilling out, and they're online. So it's Saturday over by Wolf in Europe, so he's 2:25 in the morning. So that part of the Friday night is done. So, yeah, that makes sense. But hopefully you have your glass of whatever, and you're just enjoying. I'm having coffee, so technically it should be like I'm in Japan, not New York, right?
So good old American way.
Some American wheat. So you mentioned Hemlock Grove. There's a lot of different television and movies. That's always safe for me to jump to. So I finished Orange is the New Black, and I finished Orphan Black. I guess season 2 is still going on. I caught up.
No, Orphan season 2 is already ended. Oh, are you talking about what you've watched or what's already?
So I think season 2 I got up on demand. I got up to episode 8, but I didn't think that was the finale. Maybe there's one or two more. How many episodes in a season 10? Far
10.
from Black? Alright, so I'm waiting for two more.
Season 10?
No, season 2, episode 10. I said how many episodes in a season 10, right?
I think there were only 8 episodes in season 2.
Oh, interesting.
No, there were.
Because season 2 is already over. Season 2 is already over.
Oh, I didn't think that season. I don't remember episode 8 being a finale. I'll have to go back and look. But I guess
that is an amazing show.
Yeah, it's really mostly amazing because of the what's her name? Tatiana? No.
Tatiana Maslany.
There you go. She's amazing, and she keeps playing new characters. But before we can talk about that stuff, but I was looking for something new to watch, and there's this 5-episode thing called The Fall that Gillian Anderson's in. That was kind of interesting.
I tried to get through the first episode of that, and I just sort of was like, I don't care about her or any of the people.
Right. Yeah, it's a little slow, but I figure it's only 5 episodes. It's not bad. I mean, I get what you know. It's get over that hump. I think a lot of shows, Breaking Bad, even Game of Thrones, that first episode. I think a lot of people get past those first couple episodes. The Wire, people say that you have to go through like 4 episodes. I only watched the pilot before The Wire gets really like going. I don't know how true it is.
They got to do their establishing. They got to introduce you to the characters and the relationships between them, and the general plot, the synopsis, and the hook. I got to do all of that, and it's what's frustrating with broadcast TV is I've been a big fan of anime forever. I'm a big fan of anime just because I'm a big science fiction nut, and I ran out of it. So a friend suggested to me, "Oh, you should watch Japanese animation because it's really great science fiction. Some of it is." So that got me hooked on it. And their stuff is so planned and organized that there are particular houses that are just experts at taking care of all character development, all plot, and getting you immersed into the show in half of the first episode, and then taking the second half of a 20-minute episode of a show and just knocking you on your ass with a premise. And I'd love to see actually, you know who does it really well? The guy who does Supernatural. That show is just like somebody took an anime and made it a TV show. Supernatural's got that because the first episode of that show, before the end, you were in. And it's not high art. Pulp Fiction isn't supposed to be, and that's what pisses me off about people that bitch about, like, oh well, Hemlock Grove is horrible television, blah 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 blah. I'm like, no, it's not Game of Thrones, but it's fun. You know?
Yeah, and that's where it started us on the television and Netflix, was the Hemlock Grove, and I watched, I think, the pilot, and I thought it was interesting, weird, but it wasn't something that I was like, I have to know what happens next, so I never really continued. It's just one of those things, and there's a few ones like that, a few shows that you watch, like *Halt and Catch Fire*. Some people like it. I watched like 2 or 3. I mean, I'm like, it's alright, but it's not, it's not totally engaging and like a must watch. I never got into Supernatural. I wanted to. And the other thing too is just so many shows. A lot of people are like, oh, you give me a show that's really good, and then it sinks my life. People like binge watch Orange is the New Black and House of Cards and even Game of Thrones. I watched like the first season to catch up before the second one. Like I think in one night. So.
For me, it's always premise or characters. And if they do either of those really well, if they've got a great premise and they do it really well, I'm good. If they've got really great characters, it can be Seinfeld, where it's a show about nothing. I don't care. But if you've got both of those, like a Game of Thrones or like a Breaking Bad, if you've got both of those, where you've got amazing characterization, really great writing, and a great premise, then I'm just in love with your show. So Hemlock Grove is sort of like a half and half on that. It's got like okay characters and an interesting okay premise, so it's enough, right?
And for those of you that haven't watched, Hemlock Grove is basically about, I think, they're wolves, or am I wrong?
It's.
Are they werewolves of some sort, or that's going to spoil?
There are in Hemlock Grove, and there are, but they're kind of rewriting the. They're doing their own interpretation of classic monsters. So werewolves aren't quite like they are in anything else, and other things aren't either. I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah. English Atkins, so you can't make comments, only questions. Yeah, so the Q&A app, that's an interesting thing. Some people use it, some don't. Yeah, it says ask questions, but please leave comments. You don't have to just ask questions with that thing. And I think that's one of the things I've always wanted. I'm like, please let people just comment in there or leave, it doesn't have to be a question because we will read comments, and that's a lot easier. I wish there was a way to showcase on Q&A instead of using this comment tracker, which I should be better at. I use the comment tracker for those of you who are like, what is all this? These are Hangout apps in the Hangout on Air to get connected to you guys. And English Atkins, yeah, make as many comments as you want, and send us some brisket in the mail. We'll eat it cold, live, on air. Yeah, so Hemlock Grove, the second season already came out. It's coming out this week. What?
It came out today, and I'm 3 episodes. I'm sorry, I'm. Well, let me look at my watch.
3 episodes. Oh, wow. So your watch, can you watch Netflix on your watch?
No, but essentially you've got a remote on your wrist at all times when you have the watch. Whatever app you're using, well, if you use your phone. I use Chromecast.
Can you Chromecast with your watch then?
No, and that actually I'm surprised about, where there isn't an option. You can tell it to play something and then your phone will start playing it, but you still have to go to your phone. Oh, the terror, the horror. And push and tap the Chromecast icon to get it to throw it to your TV. But I'm all Plex Chromecast now. I've never been happier with a piracy solution.
Well, yeah, I saw, right? Chromecast are allowing some kind of pirate. I saw that the other day. Do you know? Tell us what you know about that. What is Chromecast? They're not really allowing it.
There's they released the API, so it's like if you're a coder, you can put the API in whatever you want. So even your pirate app. So there's an app called Popcorn Time, which keeps getting killed off and coming back and getting killed off and coming back because they threw the source out there, so anybody can take and go, here, it's back. And I put it back on GitHub. You go get it. And it has Chromecast support now. So, and what it does is it goes out to torrent sites. You do a search. Actually, it's even better than that. It has a list of the top couple hundred things that people are watching right now that people want to see. Chances are you want to see one of them, and when you tap on it, it connects to the Pirate Bay and torrent sites and starts playing it as it's downloading it instantly.
And you don't think that Google's going to try to find a way to shut it down, or they're going to want Google to shut it down?
Well, the API's out there. The only thing I guess they could really do, I haven't looked at the API. I haven't really had a need to make anything Chromecast. Right. But it depends on what kind of if they have the ability to block the signal from a given application based upon some sort of fingerprint. They might if they're asked. Google doesn't have a track record of proactively doing things that piss people off, unless
I mean, it depends on who you're asking. I mean, sure. I mean, every company does something.
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
Right. It was you asking me.
They're not going to go out of their way to piss people off. They'll do it if they have to.
Well, I mean, they don't think they're pissing people off. Like the YouTube comments, they didn't think they were. Maybe they did think they were going to piss people off, but plenty of people were pissed off about the YouTube comment merger.
The thing is, though, you go to YouTube now, and it's better. I'm sorry. It's great. It's a lot better. It's great going. All the people that were whining, oh, I'm going to lose all this money, they're making more than they ever had before because it's linking back to
YouTube. The tip jar comments are coming. That's going to be, I'm going to have to make a meme post. Tip jar comments are coming. Tip jar posts, whenever that happens. Oh, is Jen home?
Yeah, Jen just got home from yoga.
Cool. From yoga?
You're Jen. Jen does yoga.
Who's Jen?
You're Jen.
Jen's your other girlfriend.
Better be Jen. No, I just got the Jen. Best Jen ever. She can cook and shit. It's great.
And she can shit too. That's awesome. I always like people that can do that. Wolf and Nick, do you guys use Chromecast or some kind of cut the cable cord? I mean, I use a Roku, so I have a Chromecast. I just don't like it as much as my Roku. So
I tried Roku. I actually did a review on my blog, and you know how you can really like every aspect of something, but there'll be just one thing about it that you're killer? We do. We're constantly having to adjust volume for various reasons. So I live on the ground floor in the K Street in D.C. I look out my window and the president drives by. Unfortunately, Ronald Reagan Hospital is 100 yards that way. So sirens. Huh? George Washington Hospital. I'm sorry. Are you sure it's Ronald Reagan?
I feel like this is like Back to the Future.
One of those
don't you mean? Wait, who the hell is Kennedy? Remember Back to the Future? That's like
Yes.
teaching ourselves. You're like, yes, I do. Who doesn't?
There'll be sirens going by, and when that happens, it's like a mute or a turn up the volume or turn it down and whatnot. So constant volume changing, and it bugged the shit out of me to no end that the Roku doesn't have its own volume control.
Actually, it
It's
does.
just-
The new Roku has the volume right on the remote. Like on
Oh,
the
they
side.
added it.
They added
Okay.
it. They have
It
that.
wouldn't piss me off as much. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, they just came. I mean, it's the new. I just got it, the new one, and they changed the Netflix menu, and everything's a lot easier and quicker. And they changed all the menus, and they have a native YouTube app, and I can cast through Roku, YouTube through the YouTube app pretty easily. So, and
cool.
I find that
You can always use Kush's app. Kushik, Duda, he wrote an app called Allcast that you can use. You probably have it.
yeah,
And you can just cast to anything. It'll cast to Apple TV, it'll cast to Chromecast, it'll cast to Roku, and Fire TV. So, and I've got that app because we've got Apple TVs in every conference room at work. So, so if I need to throw something up, it's a good app.
yeah. It's interesting how every corporation went with the MacBooks, right? I don't know has that been going on for a long time? That almost every company.
We did, but we didn't. The big thing right now, at least in the DC area, is what I know, is Lenovo. It's like the Lenovo's become the new HP and the new Dell. There are so many people I see walking around that have what I'm talking to you on, that have like a $1,800 Carbon X1 or have their new Ultrabook or have one of the new ThinkPads, and they're great. They're great. You're not expecting it. I don't run Windows. I can't. I don't do Windows. I've got Fedora on here. It's a Linux distribution, but no, the MacBooks are pretty prevalent. It's just for somebody like me, I type maybe 8-9 hours a day. I can destroy a MacBook in 8 months flat. All letters will be off the keys. There'll be a broken key or whatnot, because the keyboard is good to type on, but it's not particularly durable. It's not like I had the same ThinkPad for 5 years and it looked brand new. There's that kind of thing. Whereas with a MacBook, after 2 years, you're having battery issues because the Lions start to go funky after 2 years. So I like the MacBooks, but work got sick of buying them for me because I was killing them every 6 to 8 months because I used the shit out of them.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with my MacBook. It's they always run 4 or 5 years before I replace them, and they still running. But I just replace them for better performance.
Yeah, I like the way they feel. But it's once again, it's like one of those things, one little thing, one deal killer. I don't like that the letters wear off. That drives me crazy. And I don't like that the aluminum isn't properly anodized, so you get little scratches if you don't put it in a case. I don't want to have to put my device in a case. So this thing's made of carbon fiber. I haven't had to do anything to it. My Pixel, which I've had forever, is hard anodized. They do the same thing they do to aircraft wings to it. So I actually dropped it. I have all of this is sitting on a wood called Wenge. It's from, I think, Australia. It's an extremely dense hardwood, and I dropped.
It's, Wenge, I guess it's from Africa.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like this ridiculously dense wood. It's extremely hard. It's like an oak or something similar. And I dropped, a MacBook Air on it and dented my MacBook Air, and I was pissy, and there was nothing I could do about it. You dent your MacBook, you've got a dented MacBook. You're done. The Apple Care is going to laugh at you if you walk into the Apple Store.
Well, they'll ask for money.
Yeah. I dropped my Pixel, and it took a chunk out of the coffee table and didn't dent it, and it still looks brand new. I've had the same Pixel since they were released, and it still looks brand new. Never put a case on it. I want that because I'm hard on shit. You know?
Hey, speaking of hard on shit, Lance Fields, who's watching, just left us to go watch Hemlock Grove. Can you believe that? He's like, oh, I'll have to start watching Hemlock Grove. Thanks for the invite. And he's like, no spoilers. He did say something about Famke Janssen is no Jessica Lange, but hey, who is? So I guess he's referring to American Horror Story, which is another thing I never got into. I have a soft spot in my heart for that show. Even though, like, season 3, the witch season was painful at times, the conclusion was great, and the actors are great. So the premise wasn't great. Yeah.
Witch contest. Ooh, that's never been done before. But the acting was great, and Jessica Lange, yeah. It was. I like American Horror Story. This is another one of those little pulpy ones that I like. I like that one a lot.
Mm. Yeah, something I never got into. I mean, I started the bridge. The bridge came back. I like the bridge. There's something called The Strain, I think, that's premiering on Sunday on FX. I don't know if it's going to kick ass or be terrible. Do you have...
It's going to be amazing,
Amazing?
actually.
All right.
I've been, like, highly anticipating it.
Yeah, it should. Hopefully it'll be good, The Strain. Yeah, what else? There's something else coming out. I mean, I've been watching The Leftovers. It's okay. I don't trust Damon Lindelof, though, so I don't have any high hopes for the conclusion based on Lost. I mean, he kind of screwed up the end of Lost, I think, but you know.
I agree, and I watched the first couple episodes, and normally what her and I do is we kind of get a feel for a show, and it's like, but we're like aggressive vetoers. It's like it's just like, fuck this.
Wait. One show that you were like, no, and then you're like, oh, we were so wrong about that. Ever? Once? No?
A lot, actually a lot. But I mean, it's sort of like an out of sight, out of mind thing. If you never go back to it, you're not at any loss, and if you do, you're pleasantly surprised. It's like Christmas. You've got something to power watch. So there's never any real negative aspect of vetoing something and being wrong about it, if you think about it.
Yeah.
But
well, I would say something like Lost. Every season was basically entertaining. Even the last season was entertaining. It just didn't necessarily fit together in the right way. But there are, like, Dexter. I love Dexter. But there were seasons, and I would just watch it because it's Dexter. But like, there were some rough seasons at the end. Like I was like, you know. But
yeah, I know what you're talking about, because there was a moment where I was like, God, how did they fuck this up with? And they have Lithgow. How did they do that?
Well, Lithgow was the climax, and they couldn't go anywhere. That was the problem.
It carried the season, but it was thin. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, kind of the ending. The ending is.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, the ending. I mean, I think like a series can be, so Game of Thrones, if they screw up the ending, I think I could forgive them because sort of, because the story, everything's been so great so far, and that's why I can kind of forgive Lost for the most part. The only thing I can't forgive about Lost is that they said, oh, we knew what the ending was all along, we had it all planned out, but then it didn't match all the other stuff that they did, so you knew he was BSing you, you know? And I think that was true, and I think they just said that because that's what fans wanted to hear. But at least The Leftovers is based on a book, so it has a place to go.
With The Leftovers, though, what we've done is it's been an and when we
there's only 2 so far, so
yeah. Well, but that's the thing, though. When we have an scenario, go, I'll need to see one more to be sure I want to stop watching it. So the second one, we finished the second one, and we went again. So we're going to give it 3. But
right.
if on the third one, if it hasn't really gone anywhere, we'll probably take it out of the queue. You know?
Yeah. I think the problem with and it's like Under the Dome. I keep watching because I don't think it's good, but I keep watching because I was a little invested in the mystery of all of it. But I feel like, did you stop after a couple or last year? Or?
About 9 actually.
9 in, yeah.
Just sort of Under the Dome. You stopped early. You stopped after 2 episodes. I gave it because of
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Under the Dome. It was just sort of like the biggest sin. There are 2 sins for me: don't fuck up your ending, and don't ruin my suspension of disbelief. If you do those things, I can't watch your show.
Yeah.
So it's like Battlestar Galactica. I was so angry at that because the ending of that was so stupid. They had some of the most amazing moments in sci-fi in the series, and then they ended it like that, and it just pissed me off.
Well, Quantum Leap, I mean, like, that was... I mean, I don't know if that... Now we're dating ourselves again, but I mean, it was such a great show, and then the last show, the series finale, he's in a bar the whole time. It just didn't make any sense.
Yeah, but with Under the Dome, my thing was...
Now, you said suspension of disbelief. Now, for those of you that don't know Under the Dome, the big dome comes down on Chester's Mill. It's based on a Stephen King book, and it has Hank from Breaking Bad, Dean Norris. He's great. Although I don't know how much I like him as much in this, and it's not his fault. He doesn't write the show. He's a good actor, but I think there is a sense of cheese in the tone for Under the Dome, right?
For me, what it was is, some of the younger actors' performances were just, at moments, would just be so horribly bad, like micro bad for like seconds. Like I can remember one moment where somebody was in the middle of doing anything and they looked up and they just looked at the camera crew or something and then looked back quickly. And it's just as soon as that stuff happens, like, oh, I'm out of the show.
Right. I don't pay attention like probably as much for that. I just for me, yeah, that's fine. I mean, for me, I think like it's like you don't really care. I mean, the whole thing with Junior. And what he did with his girlfriend, and then like they reconciled, and he's crazy. He's not crazy. I mean, I don't like they play people crazy and not crazy back and forth on Under the Dome. And English Atkins says Under the Dome is great, although only watch season 1. Want to finish it? Yeah, season 2 just started. I think they're like 2 or so in. Yeah, Under the Dome. See, that's what I'm saying. Some people love it, some people hate it. I think it's one of those things where. Maybe my expectations were low for it, especially being a summer show, even though we've had some great summer shows, and it's on CBS. I don't usually watch a show on CBS for a long period of time. I watched The Hostage. What was it that last year with Dylan, where they were supposed to kill the president, Tony Collette, Dylan McDermott. That show like was so unbelievable, and I just wanted to see like. For me, it's not that it's good. If I'm watching, I want to know like how is it going to wrap up? Like how are they going to write themselves out of this?
You want to know what the main trick is.
Yeah, I want to know what the conclusion is to this fantastical idea, and that's really what it's about. And I skipped a few and I jumped and I was watching, but I don't think there's a show. But like the following, like I watched the first season, it wasn't amazing. It was interesting. I like Kevin Bacon. Then I started watching season 2, and I'm like, wow.
We gave it 2 episodes.
After 2, yeah. So I'll give a show almost the whole season, depending on the show, or sometimes just a couple episodes. Like Turn, I'm jumping from show to show. I was like, stop, focus on one show. I didn't even watch Turn. I DVR'd it, and then people were like, it's not that good. I'm like, I don't really want to sit through a Revolutionary War?
Yeah, I believe
show.
So. The pirate show was like that. Black Sails. I call them nostril pullers because what they've done is they've attempted to revive the classic cliffhanger, where you have to wait next week to find out what happened. And the problem with those shows is you have to maintain a consistent level of suspense with short breaks of calm, and then build the suspense back up again so that you don't become immune to the suspense. You don't build up a tolerance to it. So Game of Thrones does it extremely well. There's a suspense, and he just sort of follows a pattern where it's like humor, action, suspense, pause, quiet scene, almost like a Pixie song, loud, quiet, loud, that kind of thing. And you'll have that with a great show like a Breaking Bad or like Game of Thrones, but the shows.
It's hard to think of other ones besides those 2. No.
Well, no, Black. The guy from Less Than Zero, who's all grown up now, and playing a Blacklist. Blacklist does it. Blacklist is a great show.
So Blacklist is
quite Game of Thrones level, but it's a good show.
Well, actually, so I would disagree with you. So The Following and The Blacklist, those were 2 shows that were on a similar season. I was watching both around the same. I think they're both Monday shows or whatever. And I was like, The Blacklist, the first, I think it only had 1 season so far, or just had
1.
Or so the first half of the season I liked. I didn't think it was great, but it was interesting. And then they come back in the second half, and James Spader, who was a criminal, and we didn't really know him that well, but based on how they played him in the first half, they turned him from being this wise, manipulative guy into, and maybe he was always supposed to be this, into this violent, murderous bastard. And I feel like
the thing is though, when you start to the deal is though, hold on, I'm that shitty thing about being able to see your own
hair.
Yeah, I'm having it.
No, and those are 2 reasons. I watched Following because of Kevin Bacon. I watched The Blacklist because of James Spader, because I think they're both good actors and they're interesting. But I don't think story-wise, plot-wise, character-wise, consistency-wise, and enough new stuff happening. I stopped. I watched most of season 1, but I hate anyone that's not James Spader that's on screen. I hate it. I really hate it. I was like, I don't care about anyone else but James Spader. And then when I started to then when they took James Spader's character, they totally made him this killer. And he was kind of this. I'm not saying he didn't kill before, but it just felt like when he's sitting there with that, spoiler alert, that the old woman, and he just shoots her. I'm like, yeah. I just felt. Don't you agree?
Yeah, that was a turning point. He was kind of like this grand old man of organized crime when the show first started. He had this prestige about him, and he had this presence, and it was just like he's the expert, and it was just one of those things where you just label him as such, and it was just like everything that comes out of his mouth is going to be meaningful and awesome. And then, like you said, character shift, and then you find out what his long game was, and that's I think that's how I perceived it, because coming in the door, his character, it was just like, what's he getting out of this? Why is he doing this? And they don't tell you. So for me, it was always trying to figure out what's going on. And then ultimately you find out, spoiler, he's being hunted by some unknown entity.
Right.
And this is a long game that he's playing to take care of that issue.
Yeah.
Because
I don't think
yeah.
I don't know if I got that far. But I will. But do you agree though? Like for instance, the female lead, and then I mean, I guess I don't spoil this for people who haven't seen it. I don't
she's
care.
Nice
but
in the eyes, but she's not a particularly great actress. And
Right.
It was the issue that I had with a show that a lot of people love, and I get yelled at for this. What was?
But
what
the
was
guy Tom, like her husband, like that whole storyline, I was done with, and they kept pushing storylines that I didn't care about. And I don't know. It's just like again, like anytime like the following was the same way. Anytime Kevin Bacon was not on screen, I couldn't care less. And then the Joe Carroll character, the villain, he was interesting. But then, spoiler alert, I mean, like they keep him going, and it just becomes the same. It's like I saw it in season 1. I don't want to see it in season 2. And I think Dexter suffered from that too, where it's like, all right, we kind of saw that already, and you don't want to see it again, right?
Yeah, as soon as you start seeing it again, then things start becoming predictable, and because we're human beings, we can't help it. We will start rhyming. So even with Dexter, you would see that in the second and third season, where it was just like, oh, they're this trope again. I wonder if they even realized they've already done that twice.
Katie Einstein, he's like, I don't know if you know him. He's like, what the fuck is this nerd shit? Hey, Katie Einstein, thanks for recognizing what we're doing here. That's what we're doing.
Nerd
shit. Nerd. English Atkins adores The Blacklist, and then she did say the acting is not great, but the story is fun on Under the Dome. And I think that's it. I think that for me, it's the premise. So if I think it's an interesting premise, I'm like, all right, the execution is not great, the acting might not be great, but I want to know what happens, and that's basically that's what happened with Under the Dome. Blacklist and the following, they don't really, their premise, following, oh, they're all in a cult. Blacklist is, all right, he's helping them solve a crime each episode, and he wants to get something out of it. But I don't have any. There's never a way to really resolve it. So even if he escapes this entity and they keep the show going, then they have to think of something else. It's not like Lost or even Game of Thrones. Everyone's fighting to get the Iron Throne. There's no big payoff,
Mm-hmm.
I think. Did you say something, Wolf? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I was just coughing.
Yeah. Randall Beggs, hey, good stuff. Thanks for the invite to listen. Sure, Randall Beggs. Nice to see you here on a Friday night, Saturday morning, all around the world. Yeah. So the Strain. Tell us a little bit for those of you people that don't know. It's on FX on Sunday. I think it's like a sci-fi in the vein of Walking Dead, maybe. Do you know much about it, Scott?
No, it's horrible. I can't remember why I got so excited about it, but it was based upon reading the description of the show and the premise. And it comes across like it's going to be like an updated Andromeda Strain, which I love the book. I love that. I love the original movie. Sort of like an updated thing with the overall plot modified to give it legs. And if I remember correctly, and the way they were planning to do it, I was just like, oh, that's great, but I can't remember what it was. But I can remember being really excited about it. I remember because I found out about that, and I found out about the movie that the girl from Doctor Who did about the evil mirror. I found out about those on the same Oculus. I found out about both of those on the same day. That's how I remember going, God, I can't wait to see that. And it had something about it. There was a little preview that you could watch for it, and I remember I got excited because I thought it was a movie, and then I was like, oh, great, it's a TV show. And every single time in my life that's ever happened to me where I saw a trailer and it was so good, I thought it was for a movie, but it ends up being for a TV show, that's always been a great show. Like Farscape. The first time I...
What show did you say?
Farscape.
Okay.
The first time I watched Farscape, it was on TV, and it finished, and I thought I had just watched a movie, and it was just a 2-hour pilot, because the pilot was so damn good. and it was so interesting. It was such a great premise.
I haven't seen
An
it.
astronaut gets shot through a wormhole by
Yeah.
accident and ends up on the other side of the universe surrounded by aliens. He can't speak their language, and he's screwed, and he has to make friends with these people that want to eat him and kill him and shit. And that's the premise. And so they did such a great job in the pilot that at the end I was like, God, that's I can't wait to watch that movie again. And my friend was like, dude, you're high. He's like, that's a TV show.
Maybe you were high.
I might have been.
Yeah, maybe I was.
It was the 80s.
But the 80s, you touch on a good point. So I love movies, and I was going to movies constantly, but now I'm more excited about new TV shows than I am about new movies, like superhero movies and all that stuff. And like, I'm not like I didn't even see the X-Men movie. I'm not even as excited about movies. Like True Detective season 2, I can't wait to see who they're gonna cast. I'm more excited about television.
True Detectives, I really enjoyed. I did.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would. I thought they're attempting to be too
Intellectual.
brutal. They're trying to be too hardcore with this. Is what I kept thinking. I was like, they're going to make this stupid. They're gonna overdo it. They're gonna try to be too hardcore.
I think the ending was decent. I don't. Yeah.
I liked it. I liked the show a lot.
I think the ending was decent, although I do think there. So the problem with these things are one second. The problem with these things are is that you get like this whodunit, and you're like, oh, trying to figure out who did it, and then at some point you're like, it really is more about the characters. You have to kind of flip that switch in your brain, right, to be like, it's about the characters, the Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey. It's about the young and the old, and about their experience, and the person that did it is important, but not, because that was the one thing that I didn't like when you find I'm not going to spoil it, but when they're in that moment and Matthew McConaughey finds the picture and he's like, all right, oh, that's the house, or that's whatever. There's that moment where you're like, that's how they figured out who the murderer is and where. Right? Did you not feel cheated a little bit?
Well, I think they took artistic license because what was that based on? It was based on a
book, right? No, maybe.
A series of books, maybe. I think they had a little indulgence to address. I think they would have ended up having to make 3 episodes for something, so they truncated it. Is what I think they did there. But yeah, I did notice that. But my favorite. On that topic, my favorite aspect of True Detective, my favorite little thing that they did, was when those two are describing something to the investigators and giving the official story, but they show you what really happened. I loved that. I love that. Oh yeah, and then I shot him 2 times, and it's just like, that's totally not what happened.
Right. Well, they were covering. Yeah, we didn't know that.
I loved that. That was my favorite part of the show, was that aspect of things. Here's the interesting thing. Here's what keeps occurring to me about all of this, taking a step back. How interesting is it where our favorite entertainment is coming from now? I'm all hooked on House of Cards and these Netflix shows and some of these Amazon shows and whatnot. And I've even gotten into watching this reboot. If you heard about this, Vic Mignogna, who's a reasonably famous voice actor. If they need somebody to dub a foreign film or an animation or something that's done in another language, it's what he's done his whole life. If you've ever heard of Full Metal Alchemist, he was the voice of the main character in that. Him and his friends started doing Star Trek, the 50s version of it again, or 60s.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. I didn't get to watch it, but I saw that was being done, for sure.
It's good. It's good. And you're like, this is going to be campy bullshit, you know. It's good. Oh my God. It made me go back and watch the last episode of the original so that I would understand some of the things that didn't quite ring in the first webisode. I want more of that. I don't want, where the entertainment comes from should be an indeterminate thing. It shouldn't matter. I just want it to be good. And right now we've got these great shows. I'm all looking forward to sit down and power watch. You know, and they're giving it to you.
Shaking. You're like, I'm shaking. It's so good. I gotta jump upstairs. I'll be right back. Like 1 minute. Can you, while I'm awake, can you take over and just talk about like the entertainment function or one application on the LG Watch while I'm gone for like?
I'll do a quick demo.
Yeah, cool.
You turned on a light and it fucked the light sensor up on this.
Yeah, we can't see anything. You're in the dark.
Yeah, I'll address that. Give me a sec. I'll be right back, guys. need a Diet Coke. Oh. All right, that should be better. A little better, marginally better. All right, so if you've got an Android phone, oh, everybody left. That's so sad. Matt's going to come back and nobody's going to be here. I don't know. I think maybe just Wolf left. Oh, just Wolf left.
Hey, Scott, can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you. I can hear you. You sound good.
Yeah, no, I'm actually listening. There's a lot of background noise here, so I haven't had the mic on. I'm quite interested in the watch, so if you want to run through,
so
give a bit of a demo.
This is the LG G Watch. I just grabbed it right off the Play Store the second it was available. I had an idea for an app, and somebody's already had the same idea and had published it. So, but I don't regret it at all. This is a band that I added. It's an old German company called Vollmer, and they made it about 20 years ago. They're still in business, but they don't make the bands the same way now. But you can get like really inexpensive woven mesh bands, which are my favorite because they breathe and they're tough, and my wrists are acidic. So if I use silicone bands, well, it gets sweaty and horrible, and it sucks. This is my favorite kind of watch. So
it comes by default with silicone, does it?
Huh?
It comes from the factory with a silicone band, does it?
It comes with a silicone band. But like to give you an idea, like I've got Hemlock Grove pause behind me on my TV. So on my screen, it has a little Hemlock Grove placard and it has a pause button on it. So anytime you have any app that has any sort of remote, and what's great is it plays into the APIs of every app because everybody used the same standard APIs to make all of their apps for their Android phone. So everything uses the same API call for play, pause, and whatnot. So anything you ever install in the phone that has a play function, a pause function, a fast forward function, they all show up here automatically. It just mirrors what's on the phone, which is really cool. And the same thing with notifications. They've got this universal way of providing notifications that's pre-formatted, so any app you ever install that has any notification, it will automatically show up on the watch.
This is my random dinner: cabbage and potato salad.
I could show you mine.
Cool.
A head of cauliflower and a bowl.
Nice.
That's what I did. I just watching Hemlock Grove going on.
Dip. That's good Hemlock Grove eating. There's a lot of biting and bloody and.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You can't. You couldn't sit here to eat a steak and watch Hemlock Grove.
Well, you could, right? Is that what you're saying?
Huh?
You could do that, no?
Oh, I couldn't. I would throw up. I love steak. I'm not anti-steak or anything. But the Hemlock Grove, especially this season, this isn't really spoilers. It's like a warning. It's incredibly gross.
It's gory, right?
Gory as hell. Worse than last season already, and I'm only 3 episodes in. I saw something I didn't think I'd ever see on a show.
Darkness.
No.
So, what's up with you, Paul? It sounds like you're typing away.
Yeah. So it's Saturday morning over here.
Nice.
And it's freezing.
How is it freezing? It's summer, isn't it?
Not here.
Oh no.
Australia, mate.
Oh, all right. It's winter.
Yes.
Winter is coming.
Very winter. Frost on the ground outside.
Wow. It's pretty amazing, this thing called Earth, and especially the Hangouts was always fun to connect, but like the idea that like we're all on the same planet and there's different times and different sunlight and different temperatures, you know? Life, you think life would be boring if it was always the same time everywhere, the same situation, like with weather, or do you think life would be better that way if everyone was in the same time zone and the same temperature and the same weather?
Oh, absolutely not. We're prepping to fly over to France in a couple of weeks, and that's summer there, so we get to spend summer here and summer there.
That's fun.
It's definitely good.
On that topic, most of what happens in our reality, because of what we use to motivate our society and our race to move forward and to accomplish things, is based upon money. It's kind of like a base desire. We crave things. So economic incentive is how we progress, how we move forward. Based upon that, At some point, someone's going to figure out how to control the weather, and there's a lot of money to be made in that, because if we had a global, consistent type of weather, it would save billions and billions of dollars a year for things that are like that, if we had scheduled rain and whatnot. So at some point, someday, we're going to have a weather control system that makes the weather pretty much uniform the world over.
What worries me about that is invariably the first time we try something, we fuck it up.
Oh, yeah.
As human.
That's,
Beautiful.
well, not just the first time, but yeah.
Not just the first time, but almost invariably the first time we screw it up. And when you try and do something at that scale and we fuck it up,
Yeah.
you're starting to talk matrix results, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there are some people that think that there are already weather experiments and there's already some control of weather, but I don't
Well,
really...
there definitely are on small scale. I mean, that's rain, trying to stimulate rain has been being done for decades.
Yeah, they're trying
Pretty
to
much done successfully, but they've been trying.
Well, there's the crazy conspiracy angle, though. I know a lot about this because in a prior life, a couple decades ago, I was a weather forecaster. So I was in the Air Force, and I worked on Doppler weather radar. The conspiracy theorists think that HARP, which is a Navy project, is a weather control thing, and it's not. And they think that Doppler weather radar is a weather control, and it's not either. It's just the Doppler effect being applied to radio waves to bounce off clouds and come back and tell you what direction and what speed you're going, which is incredibly useful for forecasting things like.
I think people have conspiracy theories because, you know, they see these massive, humongous storms that the news say, oh, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, and then it happens every year, and I think that's where that comes from, right?
Yeah, that's actually, you made me think something. That's what's so horrible about what's happening with the NSA, because of what the NSA has done, now everybody with any crazy theory goes, oh, it's all true. Bigfoot.
Yes.
Bigfoot is mating with aliens and making.
I mean, based on logic, there has to be some conspiracies that are true, right? Not, I mean, I don't know which ones, but
we know there are a lot of famous conspiracies. If you Google it, actually, one of the best reads. I'll have to link it. I'll link it later. I'll have to find it. I think the top 10 list of best conspiracy theories that actually turned out to be true. It's something I found. I can't remember. I think it was on Slashdot or something 10 years ago, and that was a great read. It's really interesting what conspiracies actually were out to get us. Yeah.
I was just posting the link for more people. David Kutcher wanted to come in. Yeah, this was spontaneous. This hangout. I just felt like, I haven't done one in a while, and see what the result would be. Sometimes, I mean, I could have done this, and then I think it's the new event page and the way the event page works that maybe gets more people involved than before. But
I just haven't been personable and social in a while, and I have to do it well or I lose it. So
there's that. So I actually met Scott in D.C. at the D.C. Hurl at Rory Swan's house. That was actually a year, right? A year ago.
Almost a year ago. Yeah.
More than that. It was like June, right? So it was over, I think. And that was fun. We got to hang out in real life. Actually, it's funny too. Someone in New York was like, "Oh, I thought I would hurl with you, but you're hanging out." So I was like, "Oh, I didn't know." I mean, you never know.
No.
You've been on Google Plus for how many years? Where people are. I think Google Plus is gonna. I think the thing with Google Plus and this happy 3 anniversary is that there's a lot of features that they probably have already made that are border creepy and cool. So like they'll release it, and I think like most of us that are active will be like, oh, that's really cool. But most people that don't use Google Plus or that are out there will be like just another reason to hate and be like, that is creepy. I don't want to know when somebody takes a picture of me and puts it up online and face recognition to send me a notification to say, oh look, there's a picture of you. Were you at like the Applebee's last night? Well, look, there's a picture somebody put up, and we think you're photobombing it or something. Do you think that would be cool or creepy?
I think it depends on how you live. I mean, there's a distinct separation between how city people and rural people, which I'm completely comfortable being either. I grew up in the middle of nowhere, and every couple of years I get sick of the city and I move out to the middle of nowhere so I can start a band that plays marshal half stacks at full volume and not get arrested. So I mean, it's like, so I kind of understand both sides of it, and I think the folks that are used to a quiet, non-city sort of maybe suburban or more sparse sort of life are turned off by features that people that live in a city love. And like I'm in a city, I love it when my picture pops up because somebody took a picture of me because I was at District Commons or something, or at the Kennedy Center. I actually got tagged in a photo. I went to Baltimore to see George Takei.
Is it Takei or Takei?
Takei.
Oh, I don't know. All right, I never know. It's like GIF or GIF. What? I'm just kidding.
I went up there, and there was actually a picture. I got really good seats for that, so I was up in a box on the right. And somebody asked me, and Google Plus, somebody took a picture of it else that was there, and it actually asked me if it was me. And I thought that was cool, right? But I can understand how that could really freak somebody out.
Yeah, but if someone's gonna put that picture up anyway, you'd rather it's like ignorance. You'd rather not know about it. Is that you think that's? I mean, that's the thing I don't understand. Like, I think the biggest thing is public versus private, and I think that's been the biggest issue for social, for the internet, for applications. You know, there are a lot of people that think, oh, well, people are going to use our app or they're going to use our site. I've been consulting with these Ocho guys, and this idea of private versus public. You know, oh, I'm going to share all my stuff with my friends, and they're going to share their stuff with me. And it's not for public consumption, where there's a lot of people that are like, I don't care, everyone could see it, or their personalities are like, yeah, I want everyone to see it. And then there are people like, once it's on the internet somewhere, it's public in a sense, because anyone could probably find it, but what is the line? It's personal preference, but more and more...
I think it's two aspects. I think it's a combination of people that don't understand that you can't opt out of reality, as much as you would like to pretend you can. I think there's that aspect of things. It's not you shouldn't have an expectation of privacy when you're out in public. It's, oh, by the way, some of the sirens I was talking about earlier. That's a fire engine.
Big brother fire engine coming after you.
Yeah. So somebody lit something on fire. It's Friday. That happens a lot. So, but it's I think there's the expression, you shouldn't have any expectation of privacy if you're going to be in a public. I think that statement should be taken a step further. You have no expectation of privacy. You have no privacy when you're in the public. And you are in the public. If you're in your own home or your own building, or in some cases, if you're in your backyard, yeah, you should probably have an expectation of privacy. But when you're out in public, you're out in public, you know? So I mean, again, it's if Google Glass was the kind of thing, going back to that because this stuff is nice.
It does Google Glass and phones and other devices.
Where when you recorded somebody, a bright frickin' spotlight came on to make the camera perfect, and lit up the person that you were recording, and you couldn't walk around Times Square without like people like eating things with these bright ass lights shining at you, recording you every time you did something. It'd be a different story. I think people.
But people do that with their phones, so I don't understand why it's a big deal.
Because people don't care about their privacy being violated if they don't know what's happening.
Exactly, ignorance. That's what I'm talking about.
I've been in London and I've walked all over the place, and I know the CCTV cameras are everywhere, and it doesn't bother me so much because I don't know who's really doing it, right? It's still kind of creepy in a way, but I get the benefit of it. It's still kind of creepy, but I get the benefit of it. With Glass, the thing is, people can't tell if you're using it to record them, and they don't know because there's a learning curve in English. You can't expect people to have to know things to accept you.
But I know, like, for instance, somebody that's in an older age group thought it was creepy that I think she has an iPhone and it said something like, you know, it would take you 19 minutes to drive to this location, and it was like her location she was at earlier, and to her that was creepy, and that's Big Brother-like. I mean,
you've got a generation of people that were raised watching movies about dystopian technological futures. How many? I can think of 50 movies if I sat here and really thought about it. I could rattle off 50 movies that I saw as a kid without seeking these types of movies out that all paint this crazy future where the robots are gonna kill us and turn us into robot shoes and shit. You know, I mean that's what's been pumped in our heads.
Wait, you didn't hear that Google's doing that? You didn't hear Google I/O that they're killer robots? Did you hear that?
Yeah. Google makes killer robots that turn us into shoes. I heard all about it.
They can't make all killer features that work, but they can't get rid of all the Google Plus bugs, but they can make killer robots.
Yeah, my notifications sometimes show up 50 minutes late, but they're killing people with robots. Yeah.
Right. I mean, but that's a different engineering. This project that's Google X or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I did see. It's funny. I did see there was a fireside chat with Larry and Sergey.
I like it.
Yeah, Sergey was doing also a Recode one. You know what? It's interesting to watch Larry and Sergey talk outside I/O, but they didn't talk. They didn't jump into the keynote at all. Why? Do you think that? I mean, it's weird or?
Well, with Larry, I can understand because talking for him is physical labor at this point.
Yeah.
You know, and it sucks because he puts all of this effort into trying to come off.
Wait, let me invite him because ask him. We can just ask him.
Oh, invite him to the hangout. That'd be great.
I'm sure he'll show up. All right, Paige, Sergey Brin, who will definitely show up because they won't have to clear with any PR people or anything.
Yeah.
Who else should we invite? Jerry Ryan. She'll want to come in here.
Get Jonathan Younger. He's get the new G Plus head too. See if you can...
Dave, I don't know, maybe he would have to clear it with though. Everyone's like, "What's that typing noise?" All right, here we go. I invited them. Welcome to. So you're watching Rappaport Hangout. I got Scott Wilson. I got Paul. What's your last name, Paul? I'm sorry.
Hannah. Hey.
Paul Hannah. Okay. It's interesting how it doesn't. It used to say everyone's full name, but it only says first names now.
I like it. It's more personable to have just the first name. I can totally imagine this scenario where a project manager said, "Hey, you know what? We should do this, and here's the reason why." I like it. It's more personable. You're Matt. You're Matthew. That's cool.
Right.
Actually, I think it's more an issue of space because I'm getting Matthew and Scott Wilson.
Oh. Really? I get you. When I hover over my name, it says you.
Really? It has like a New York accent? You.
Yeah, it says
like a little.
Yeah, it's like Rocky Balboa. You.
Oh, it's got a Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philly. Yeah.
Italian stallion.
You can hear it.
Definitely. You know, and the other thing too is I always want, at least in the Hangout on Air, I always wanted like a timer to see how long I've been going, because then I'll be like, I don't want to do a 3-hour Hangout because I don't care, but I've done them in the past. But I had the Ustream before the on air. I used to show me the countdown, how long I've been on it. I'd be like, whoa. Yeah.
I have no concept of time at all. I'm horrible with it. Like, I can days. I've always been this way my whole life. I can look off in some direction and start thinking about something, and when I look back, I have to look at a watch because I don't know if 2 minutes went by or an hour. I have no concept of time. My brain does not do time right.
Well, that's one of the reasons why, like that beta summer, we were hanging out so many hours. All of us, we just lost track of time, and then I think eventually we realized how much time we were hanging out, and we were like, oh my God, we can't be doing this our whole lives because. That's
one of the reasons I like wearing a watch, by the way. I can always go like that, and I go, oh, 10 minutes went by.
10 minutes. So what?
To me, this is one of the great things about technology is I'm sitting here in very rural Queensland, Australia, being able to have a conversation with other interesting people elsewhere without it being an issue. I don't have to live in a city. I don't have to.
You have to have internet connection.
I do have to have an internet connection, yes.
Project Loon has to get you an internet connection.
What we're doing here, though, the awesomeness of the fact that you're in Queensland, this is what got me interested in technology in the first place. I wanted so bad. In my mind, my idea of the cool thing that you could do with technology was reach out and talk to people in other cultures and learn about them with their friends. So that's why I got hooked on IRC when I was like 13 years old back in 1990, God, whatever it was. Yeah, this to me feels like Hangouts to me feel like the original IRC did. It's like the movie version of the book IRC. That's what this is for me. I love it.
The movie version
David
of the
joined
book.
us.
The movie Hangouts is the movie version of the book IRC.
Lego.
Oh, nice Lego.
Show us
We
the
actually
Lego.
were trying to figure. Well, we're trying to figure out if he looks like Walt.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Well,
yeah. That looks like Walt. It just needs a
yeah.
hat, fedora or something.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have the yellow meth coat, but yeah.
He needs a fedora, but yeah.
I love fedora.
Fedora, Indiana Jones. Oh, we didn't talk movies. Maybe David's here just in time. We're talking about great TV.
Yeah.
And then Breaking Bad was mentioned. Oh, there was some news about Better Call Saul. You guys looking forward to that, or is that going to scare you?
Yes, because apparently, I guess it's going to take place in the what I read about Better Call Saul.
Everything.
They're going to do the past, the present, and the future. The show's going to jump back and forth between them, and it's going to share timelines with Breaking Bad.
Right. That is the smartest thing to do. That way they can. That way if they want to, like, because I think if they just did the past,
Hi,
or
Angie.
they just did one, hey Angie, Angie.
Well, if you're talking IRC, the big news that I heard today was the Sword of Shannara is going to be into a series.
What is?
What's going to be on MTV? Sword of Shannara by Terry Brooks.
Oh, you're kidding!
Is it gonna be an MTV show?
It's going to be an MTV2 series, apparently.
That's amazing.
Well, I don't know. Does MTV make good series? I don't. Is that
They're
amazing?
entertaining. It's worth. It's. I wouldn't say it's.
I
Not,
can't even remember the last show I watched on MTV for a regular season.
Liquid television is not.
That's not recent though.
No, but I mean, think of what came out of that. A lot of the actors from the state are now like on Reno 9/11 and whatnot. Eon.
Those shows aren't. Wait, those shows aren't on anymore? Did you just say Reno 911 and the state? Those shows are old too.
Yeah, but I mean, it had an impact on society.
Right? Right?
What did you say, Dave?
Brooklyn Nine-Nine has from
Yeah.
the state.
It has a bunch of the people from
Oh, okay, yeah.
Tom Lennon. I can't remember the name of the guy. The guy that was the Italian kid that was on the state. He's guested on it a couple times. He was in a show called Up All Night, which was really fun, about party planners or caterers.
Angie got here just in time because we haven't talked about Walking Dead at all, and I know she loves The Walking Dead.
I've talked too much. Somebody else talk.
No, that's fine. Angie loves The Walking Dead. Except I will say, I'm looking forward to The Walking Dead. I personally thought, I said this before, that The Walking Dead ended, season 3 ended crappy, and then season 4 had to clean up season 3, and we spent all of season 4 trying to get back on track, and then finally, the finale of season 4, like when they finally get to Terminus, spoiler alert, whatever, that is the beginning of the show, like the new part of the show. Like everything that happened between, I think season 3 and season 4 kind of sucked, sort of, and then season 1, 2, and 5 hopefully will be good. And now we're in I mean, I don't know. Should we spoil? If people are watching this far in, whatever. There's gonna be some. We're gonna talk Walking Dead spoilers. If you don't want to hear it, if you really haven't watched it, go in for like 10 or 15 minutes. I don't know.
I could not stand Walking Dead. I wanted to like it so bad because so many people love that show.
Is it because of
And I
the
tried.
acting or the story?
Fuck, the way they present the story, that nostril pullers is what I call them, ever since Heroes, where they feed you a little bit of plot at a time to get you to come back next week. I don't mind that if something is incredibly character-driven, but when I watch a show and there isn't a single character I can like, it's like they're all assholes. I can't, I can't get into it. I tried, and I'm probably going to come back and give it a chance later.
This fine. Angie's gonna jump in. I know she's dying.
Yeah, I mean, The Walking Dead, I was a fan of the graphic novels before I saw the show, and it's extremely character-driven. I mean, the zombies are almost just an aside to the characters, But I thought they did a fairly good job in the first season, and then they kind of dropped the ball in the second and the third season on the character development. It got kind of weird, but all the things that happened this last season I was expecting, just because of the graphic novels. So I think they're doing a good job with it.
Yeah, I think it's gonna come back season 5, and hopefully season 5 now that they're back together and they're out of the prison and.
I just got tired of them being on the damn farm.
The farm, the prison. Yeah, I think that's it too. Is that it was a hit show, and AMC was holding the budget back, and they've had multiple showrunners because the original one, Frank Darabont, wanted Rick to die and Shane to continue on, and they didn't want. And AMC's like, no, he's the hero. You can't do that. So, do you think if The Walking Dead, if Rick died and Shane was still around, do you think it'd be more interesting, or it'd be worse?
I think they would have lost out on a lot of
Viewers.
content that they already had available to work with Rick, with like the ghost phone calls from the dead wife and the all the Coral plot art, all those things. But
Coral.
There's something to be said for constantly killing off characters, though.
Thanks, George R.
Right. Thanks, Double R. Martin. We were talking about that too. Yeah, can people back off? Like, if the guy dies, that I have faith in Dan and whatever his name is that write the show on HBO. I think they'll be fine. No, they know it well enough. You don't think?
I didn't catch what you said, Matt.
I said the two showrunners of Game of Thrones. I think are well versed in Game of Thrones. That I think they'd be able to wrap it up in a satisfying way without George R. R. Martin.
Yeah, that was the concern, that they were going to run out of material before he came out with the next book.
Right, but I don't
they've added and removed so much, that it's its own little. I get thrown for a loop, and I've read all the books.
I have a high tolerance for that, because once again, I said I'm a big anime fan, and a common occurrence in anime when one runs mangas, they're always based on a graphic novel or a manga, and it'll happen frequently where they'll run out of manga to turn into shows, so you have to wait for them to write the manga to turn it into a show. So I'd be forgiving in that. I think I'd wait for George. Of course I would. That'd be awesome. I mean, how highly anticipated would it be to wait 2 years for a show to come back, and then it does, and it's just like, oh.
The Sopranos. What?
I still feel like they've really only covered the super major events. There's a ton of material that they didn't even touch that they could go back and revisit and do flashbacks and do all kinds of stuff.
Well, he talked about doing a whole backstory for certain characters in the future, but I don't know. Do this Game of Thrones Star Wars method, right?
That's actually another thing. I hate talking about anime because I'm such a dork, but in anime, they do this thing where if there's a show right now that's incredibly popular because it's absolutely horrifying. It's called Attack on Titan. It's about
I've seen it.
Yeah, it's about human beings getting eaten by giant things that look like other human beings. They just love eating us, and it's absolutely. Yeah. It will scar your soul halfway through the first episode.
Extremely disturbing images.
It's so bad, but it's so compelling and it's so fun to watch, and it's such a great show, and it's very character driven. You're not expecting that, but what they've done is, and it's a good example. There's all these little side stories that they skipped when they ripped through the manga to do the series to keep the plot rolling into pace. They do something they call OVAs, where it's a completely separate story that's still in the same universe and still tied into a particular episode. I'd love to see a TV show do that. I'd love to see, like, Better Call Saul would have been an OVA, and it would have been on at the exact same time the Breaking Bad was. It would just been on a different time slot. Maybe after it, there'd be this side show that's still related to the whole universe. And that's a common occurrence in anime. I'd love to see an American TV show do that.
Let me pause and say, I just want to say tu hablas español, because some dude, Jose Dolores Santana Aquino, left a comment in Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish. Something about technology.
Can you copy and paste it into group chat, Matt?
I can, yeah. Although I can't see the whole thing.
But I understand what you're saying, Scott. And honestly, with all the Dunk and Egg stories and stuff that he has for Game of Thrones, they could totally,
Yeah, how cool would that be? Even better, making it an animated short that's on the side that's related to it. There's examples of that. Star Wars did it. They did Animatrix. The Animatrix, the same thing. The fans don't care.
No, Matrix. That was Matrix. Yeah. You called it Star Wars, but it was right. Or am I wrong?
No, they did the same thing. There's
all right.
Little side projects that are related to the same universe. Doctor Who has done it. They had a web.
That wasn't accidental.
A web series that was still in the same universe. It was just like another episode of the same show. It was absolutely awesome. I love it when they do that. People want that. They want diversity. They want these tiny little pieces of this property that they love to exist.
Right. So I know what you're saying. And then Walking Dead, they're coming out with that spinoff for Walking Dead, just like a spinoff for Breaking Bad, because AMC is desperate to continue to have hits. Well, I mean, they'll probably introduce the Walking Dead spinoff in The Walking Dead. Probably. Do you think it's too much? Do you think it's like? Do you think people are like, well, we're already given? I mean, the spinoff.
They tried to do that with Supernatural, and it bombed. The episode bombed.
Oh wait, I know what you're talking about. And I saw that. I go, oh god, this is such a jump shark movie.
I have to
Are you
come up
talking?
for some ginger libations, so I will catch you all later.
Later, man.
Okay.
Thanks for the Walter White Lego, man.
Yeah.
Say my name, David. Right.
Was that the new Google Plus had?
No, I was David Kutcher, not David Besbury.
Yeah, the whole time we were sitting, I was thinking, oh, that's
That
the
would be pretty
new,
funny if that was. Oh, just because it said David? Yeah, I know. You were talking earlier about how it says first names now instead of just like everyone's full name.
Yeah, I was like, God, that looks like the dude the new Vic. Or
Well, no one looks like Vic, but yeah.
He's a great guy. I met him a couple times.
Oh, who, Vic?
Yeah.
Where did you meet? When was the last you met him recently in real life?
No. It was a while ago. It was about a year ago. It was actually right after around the time we met.
What was the context? What was it? Just hi, how are you?
Yeah, just hi, how are you? He was in D.C. It was like that. It wasn't like we didn't even really grab food. You know, I just knew he happened to be somewhere that I was, and I was like, oh, hey, hi, hey, I really like what you're doing with Plus. It was like that. Like what we talked about. He's not like a celebrity, but at the same time, I know he didn't really want to get bugged about it.
Hmm.
Vic.
Well, yeah, whatever. Who knows? Interesting. So the Q&A question, something about peace, Angie, world peace, limits on world peace and technology, security of humanity. You were talking about Big Brother a little bit earlier, Google and killer robots, and they can't fix all the Google Plus bugs, but they must have killer robots ready to go.
Okay, so that makes sense then.
Maybe that was why.
Okay.
Thanks for translating, baby.
You're welcome. I don't get all of it, but I got most of it. But it makes more sense now that you told me what you guys were talking about.
Yeah, we were jumping around. So yeah, I just did impromptu because I haven't done one of these in a while. And to be honest with you, like I was telling everyone, I was telling Scott, just the amount of work to make an HOA and then no one shows up versus I just said, oh, let's do one now. Yeah. Everyone just shows up. I'm like, oh, look at that.
Hey,
much easier.
I haven't seen you in forever, Rapp. Look at my hair.
It's very blonde. It's very nice. Did you cut it short?
It's very gone. It's
very
gone
too. Why did you, well, you've been traveling a lot. So Angie, for those of you who don't know, Angie is a world traveler. You've been all over the place. Where did you cut your hair? In Vegas?
In Vegas, yeah.
I used to have a house in Vegas.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. And Henderson.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
There's this pluser named Lindsay Urick who put up a picture that she was in Vegas. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, have you ever done the station casinos when you're in Vegas? They give you a station card?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think I was with Angie at one.
I hit the I guess the bi-hourly lottery. I had my station card in a 5 or 7 slot for $53,000.
You won $53,000?
Nice.
Well, after paying taxes, it was like 31 or something. But
oh, I'm sorry. You only won $31,000. Let's cry.
What ended up happening was I had to pay for buffet for everybody for like 6 months. That's what really ended up happening.
so that's a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Vegas. It's fun.
They should have been comping your buffets.
Oh yeah, well they probably wanted the money, but they're like, you might want to. When you won the money, they're like, sir, can you stay at a table?
Exactly. They want to give you free rooms and free food, so you don't leave the casino and you lose it all back because it's all a numbers game. It's just a waiting game.
You know what? That didn't even occur to me, but that did happen. They did offer us room and everything.
Yeah, I mean, did you take?
Because they didn't want you to leave.
I wanted to move back. Yeah.
Right. Interesting. It's all a numbers game. It all really is.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
They don't give you stuff just because you took a bunch of.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Nobody else was talking, Scott.
Yeah, Angie was probably just. There was probably the mic mumbling or something. There was a grumble.
No, I was not.
Not you. I'm saying there's probably a mic sound that he heard that he thought was a.
Yeah, I did. I'm trying not to be rude because I talk a lot.
Oh, whatever. Rude. It's fun.
There's the thing about Vegas that bugged me when I first got there was that feeling of, oh, this is Times Square all over again. Because Times Square used to be this beautiful, dirty, disgusting, filthy, wonderful thing, and then it got Disney-fied.
Yes.
Old Times Square was the shit. You might get stabbed. That was exciting.
Well.
Yeah, you know what I mean. This hint of danger. But Vegas, the same sort of thing started happening where they've sort of tried to Disney-fy it. But the Strip is still the Strip. It's still a good place. And the important thing was my favorite dive casino, the Klondike, Where
Oh yeah.
I love that place. Where they still have single deck 21 on a table that has cigarette burns all over because they won't. I love shitty casinos.
I walked into the Horseshoe. That was pretty shitty.
Hey Scott, next time you come down here, you got to go to Fremont Street, man. That's where all that's at now.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's where we were.
That's where old Vegas is, all the down and dirty.
I did
dive
that.
It feels more like a
Although-
fraternity down there than it does.
Yeah, they're
Old
trying
Vegas.
to gentrify that now, though too. So I don't know how long it's going to be.
That's pretty.
As long as you do not eat at the heart attack grill, I learned my lesson.
Yeah, the food sucks.
So what I do
It's
if
awful.
I'm gonna do like a short stint in Vegas, which it's been a while, I'll do Sam's because you should do some bowling, and I'll do some of the station casinos, and then the big thing I do is I hit the pawn shops on it.
Oh yeah.
And but the big thing is I'll hit the pawn shops and I'll look for watches, lighters, and things like that are really marked low. Because I've made a lot of money. I bought this box of lighters once for $50, and each lighter was worth $500.
You know it's kind of cool. Sorry to interrupt, but Brett Bjornson, who's in Vegas, he was on Porn Stars, which was kind of cool. He was on the show. Yeah. I had no idea he was on the show. Literally, I had my TV on one night. I'm like, oh my god, that's Brett Bjornson?
Yeah, they actually super secret. I know this is a hangout on air, but they actually a lot of the people that bring those items in, they don't want to be on TV, so they'll hire somebody here in town to pretend to be the owner of the item.
Wait, was Brett hired, or I thought that was really his stuff?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't talked to him about it, but I do know for a fact that they hire people to pretend it's their stuff and bring it in because a lot of those people don't want to be on TV.
They won't sign the release. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you walked into that shop a lot, or not really?
That's a tourist thing. I don't do that.
I'm not saying you do that.
It's not close to my house. It's been there a long
there's
time.
That.
That's a super pawn, right? Or what is
It's
it?
right. It was on the way to Fremont Street, I remember.
Yeah, I think it's over in St. Louis. I don't remember which one it is.
On the way to Fremont.
Oh, I think I
Fremont
remember you
is
getting
where-
excited.
We were all excited, but then, yeah, Fremont was a little creepy. There was some really scary Michael Jackson impersonators.
Yes. And that dude with the short shorts dressed up like Cupid with the belly shirt.
Yeah, we were there during Christmas at the big tree, and it was cold.
Mm-hmm.
We were actually Paul. It's winter by Paul. He's down under. He's freezing his butt off. He's got frost on the ground.
Winter has come to
Winter
Australia.
has come to Australia down under.
I haven't seen Paul in a long time either.
I got hooked on a band from Australia recently, my first one.
Men at Work?
Did you say men at work?
Yes, I was joking.
But, I thought you said did it work at first. I was like, oh, did it work? No.
But I like this band called Pendulum, and I'm just absolutely hooked on them. I was using I Feel Lucky on Google Play Music, and they popped up. I'm like, oh, I like this. And then I was like, oh, I like all of it. Oh, we're getting all this. And then I did. So that's all I've been listening to. I'm buying headphones just for that band because I don't have a great pair of headphones right now, and I want to hear them with good headphones.
I think the last band I felt like that about, which wasn't actually a band, it was just a guy, was called Vast.
Vast.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. If you get a chance to give him a listen.
I found I use Pandora.
What's that?
I find I haven't had to. I use Pandora a lot for music, and I find I haven't had to think about music or think about a band in years as a result. It just gives me what I feel like listening to.
That's cool. Right now, the I Feel Lucky thing. Hold on. The I Feel Lucky option on Google Play has finally learned me to where it used to be when I first started using it. There's an up thumb and a down thumb option with it, and I would find myself hitting it like, no, I don't like that. Why are you playing that for me? And now that's very infrequent. So I guess it is learning. But like you said though, with Pandora just sort of figured me out really quick.
Yes.
Yeah, Pandora.
Yeah, it does a better job than I do in finding music, that's for sure. I don't even bother anymore. I just switch on one of the channels and let it go.
Yeah.
I was playing with SongSci. When Google bought it, I was like, what? I never used it. You guys ever use it? That's like moods and no.
No.
Like, it's
I'm
alright.
going to add Vast to my library now and we'll listen to it later. Oh.
W. Walker, wow, all of the hashtag Hangout Rock stores were there. Mini Blast, hashtag Weekend Arrow, follow the hashtag Rabbit Hole by Design, Punt WW. Am I supposed to, I got, see, people say I'm confusing when I use hashtags. Like, what?
Because you use all of them every time.
All the times. Actually, there's sentences without hashtags in this comment thread, so that I wrote, woot, it's true.
Hey, Angie,
Yeah.
recommend a Vast album to me.
How many are there?
Vast, Pretty When You Cry.
Like a free menu, April, Music for People, Living in New York City, Turquoise and Crimson.
What's on Music for People?
For People.
We're
The Last
looking
One
for
Alive,
music.
Free, I Don't Have Anything, The Gates of Rock and Roll, What Else Do I Need, Blue, Land
Those are all good, but let me look real quick because I'll tell you which album was the first one I listened to that I just
Got hooked.
blew me away.
Mo Bounce
We
Baby.
may totally not have the same taste in music. And
I listen to a lot of music.
oh, visual audio sensory theater maybe. Hang
Got
on.
it. That's it. I'm adding it to my library.
Has it got Pretty When You Cry and Dirty Hole and
We're talking about song titles, everyone watching, joining just now.
sorry, that's the name of the
No,
song.
I don't care. No, I know it is, but it's funny. It's just like, imagine tuning in, Dirty Hole. That's what you said.
Yep, that's it.
I like
Touch.
it, Dirty Hole, Touch.
I'm Dying, Flames,
Like-
Temptation, Three Doors. Yeah, that's the first one I listened to.
I like to touch your
just
dirty
like,
hole,
ah.
I'm dying. Okay. Sounds great. Mo Bounce
It's
Baby, we were
just-
talking about fan fiction before. I'm sorry. She said most of those are fan fiction or licensed to write side stories by the corporate owner. I guess she was talking about the supernatural anime topic before. I don't know. I don't get what she means. Maybe you
I
do.
The Japan loved the show Supernatural so much, and it's because Klipke, or whatever the name together, wrote the show. He totally did Supernatural, even the number of episodes per season, the way they rise and fall, the way he introduced characters. It was an anime. He copied the anime format for how to do shows, when to have one main overriding plot per season, and then throw subplots in that are interconnected. He did it exactly like who's a really good writer. Either way, he did it like that. So of course, Japan loves Supernatural.
Ooh,
Ouch. That was
Somebody's-
you, Scott.
phone is on vibrate.
Scott!
Wasn't me.
Oh, I thought it was. All right, thanks.
But anyway, Japan loved Supernatural with all their heart. So Warner Brothers approached a studio called Madhouse, which is brilliant. They've got Oscar award-winning stuff like Paprika, and said, could you pick the team and turn this into an anime aimed for the Japanese market?
Oh, wait. Maybe that's Paul.
Yeah,
Everybody watching, I'm sorry for your ears. They're probably like, oh my god, I'm deaf. Physical abuse of
I don't
me
know
here.
about
Niggas here. Niggas
But,
like,
yeah.
Oh, you got in.
I
Yeah,
got in.
copy
It
and
was
paste
good.
it.
Basically, they just copied the first season of the show and made it animated, and they did a really good job. And they hired a lot of the people from the show to do the voice acting and did an American version, which was cool. So you can either watch the first season of the show or watch the anime with a slightly different first season ending. But you could watch the first season of the show and then pick up the second season of the TV show. That's what the anime. The anime was done well, I thought. But it kind of bombed in America, but did really well in Japan.
Shit, I didn't even know there was an anime. Now I'm gonna have to look for it.
Yeah, look for Supernatural, the animation. They're
Yeah.
very proud of it. They just took the whole crew from Fremont or whatever they are, put them on a plane, sent them to Japan, and did it.
Huh.
It's pure Supernatural. It's just
Interesting.
animated. What's weird about it is you can be watching an episode of it and forget that you're watching an anime because of how well they did it. Like the car. The car is a character on the show. They nail the car. It's absolutely perfect. It's animated and it's perfect.
Interesting.
They did recordings of the actual real car for the anime so that it would be perfect.
Oh, okay. I understand what you're saying. I thought for some reason I was envisioning a talking car, and I'm like, eh.
No, but I mean,
Knight Rider.
if you've watched, I've never had a car made me cry as a character in a show, And there's this when the show should have ended, if you're a big fan of the show, was I think the end of season 3. The car saved the universe.
Destroyed, yeah.
And it just
Are you talking about the one where they got hit by the truck?
no.
What show are we talking about? Just to get back on track.
Supernatural.
Supernatural. All right.
The episode starts with them. It's the last episode of the season. Supernatural has some of the best season enders of any show ever. They nail a season ender. And
I probably didn't give it a fair chance because I remember watching the pilot and thinking the two main characters I could give craps about.
You have to kind of get through the first season because it's kind of really cheesy and predictable, but then it actually gets really good.
Yeah, the second season the characters are so fleshed out that the show
a lot
will pick on itself and pop.
So you guys agree then that the pilot was kind of crappy?
Ish.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love that crap, so I was going to love it no matter what. I'm biased.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So better or worse than Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
But the interaction between Sam and Edith is just magic, and it's rare. It's like better than Buddy Cop, like the best Buddy Cop you've ever seen.
And then they have these really fabulous interludes where they have these really just campy episodes making fun of themselves.
Yes.
Where there's one episode where they end up in this alternate universe where they're actually everybody thinks that they're the actors of the show and they're having to deal with all the other actors and
they obliterate the fourth wall. That episode
yes, they do.
They pick on their real life selves, like they present themselves as douchebags. It's so great. And even the director of the show makes sure to put himself in it, and I'm not going to say they'll ruin it. It's a great show.
There's one episode that's just totally hilarious where it's like Groundhog Day where they're just reliving the day over and over again, and one of the brothers just gets killed every single way you could possibly think of over and over and over again.
Was that they go to a little town in Pennsylvania that's like a horror...
The mystery spot. The mystery spot.
Yeah, spot. That was a great episode.
Yeah.
Because they pick on tropes. They did an episode called, I swear to God, Chris Angel is a douchebag.
Yes.
That was the title of the episode. Chris Angel is a douchebag.
He might be.
Chris Angel, mind freak, that guy.
Yeah, he might actually be a douchebag. It's possible.
Well, I think he is.
I trust my Supernatural people. I believe he is. But they do a lot of fun stuff. Like I said, the first season was a little bit hard to get through, but then you get kind of hooked, and they did mature. And then once they got their groove, they started every once in a while throwing in these one-off episodes. And they had a Loki character that was a trickster that was
like a Q
awesome
character from
relief.
Star Trek. Yeah, they had an omnipotent being character that is a dick, but he's so likable.
Yeah. He's a very likable dick. Yes.
Yeah, I never really even Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Charmed. I never got into those kind of shows. So
I've never seen one episode of either of those shows.
Are those bad comparisons? Sorry.
Buffy has 2 episodes that are widely considered some of the best television ever done. There's 2 episodes. Buffy's worth watching because, and I swear, it is. I'm going to say this, and people are going to disagree with me. Buffy's better than Supernatural. I swear to God. If you follow it the whole way through, and then
I've heard that.
There are college classes that do nothing but dissect the psychology of.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Is anybody watching Penny Dreadful?
I haven't. You're watching it because I've seen the commercial for it, but I never. Is it good?
I'm conflicted.
It lost me after the second episode, but then I've got a Plex server, and one of the things you can do with Plex is you can make Plex buddies with other people that have Plex server. Yeah. And I've got Bobby Debo, and I've got Daryl Barnes and all in my Plex circle, so we all see each other's stuff. If he downloads something, I can play it. And he got 2 more episodes of that.
Wait,
I was
talk to us about that, because I don't how are people doing that.
Plex server is awesome, and actually Scott just named some people that I didn't know had Plex server, so I'm going to have to add them to my Plex server circle.
Yeah.
Daryl Barnes.
Add me as a Plex buddy. I'll add you. I get all new TV shows.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What is it, an app?
It's a media server.
It started off as software that was pretty much like Apple centric. It was for OS 10, but then they made a Linux version, and then they released Android client and whatnot. And it's just great. What it does is you have a headless server. It doesn't have to have a screen or anything. It's not like XBMC or any other media stuff where you have to connect it to a TV. And then with it, you could take Plex and you could plug it into a TV. But what most people do is, put it this way, you would have a reason to use your Chromecast, because what happens is if you've got the Plex app on your phone, like I've got it right here, and I open it, I can automatically, no matter where I am, play anything on my Plex server,
including things that are shared with him by other people.
By other people. I can play it on my phone, I can play it on my computer, but what they did was, which was smart, they added a Chromecast button. So now, all I have to do is tap this and it's on my TV. So your phone becomes your remote control and becomes your media center, and it's so cool you don't think it's going to be, and it is. And
you can
it
use it
with the watch.
It also works
with
a Roku box.
Oh, nice, 'cause I have a Roku, yeah.
That's right, you have a Roku. Roku has a Plex plug-in.
Yeah.
So essentially it's like all the stuff you don't get with Roku. You don't get ESPN. You don't get...
Oh, I do.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you have like 15 different pay movie services that like $5-6 a movie, whatever. You don't get regular broadcast television, that kind of thing.
PlayOnPlugins.com.
She's like, I got that covered.
Sorry, Scott.
But
Angie's got the whole setup.
Well, what I've got is I've got a Mac Mini sitting under my TV that it's got Linux on it, with Plex, SAB, NZBD, Sickbeard, and Couch Potato on it, and they go out to Usenet the second something's released, pull it down, format it, and make it pretty, and put it on my Plex server, and then I can stream it, usually within an hour after a TV show finishing. But sometimes, if there's an insider...
I just want to say that Scott always gets his content legally and pays for his subscription services.
I was about to ask him that. There you go.
Well, what I do is I feel guilty, and if something doesn't suck, I end up buying the box set later. I do. I'll admit it. I have a box set of Stargate SG-1. I paid like the whole thing. It was like $700 because I felt guilty because I had never paid for the show. So
$700.
It's 10 seasons.
I gotta say my movie ticket budget per month between the kids is $200 or $300.
Yeah, me and Jen do.
I was talking to Scott about how TV just is better. I'm more excited about television than movies than I was 10 years ago.
Yes, absolutely. So, absolutely. And I've been going back through Firefly again, and I was like, man, I forgot how great this was. I mean, I remembered how great it was, but wow.
And what's great to do is to rewatch the.
And I've gone down the rabbit hole on some of the Netflix shows. You know, some of the little hole-in-the-wall Netflix series that aren't huge, like House of Cards. I mean, some of their little tiny ones are like, wow, this is actually really good.
Well, I was talking to Scott at the beginning about The Fall, and I only watched this like 5 episodes, Gillian Anderson, and I watched like 2.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see it? Scott said he couldn't get through it. I mean, it's basically they're in Europe, and the premise is there's been a bunch of murders, and they bring her along to help them solve the case, and it's a little bit like The Killing. And she's very cold, and she's the way she is on this show is so different than the X-Files, so it's kind of interesting. But it's only 5 episodes.
So that would be interesting just to see Jillian. Yeah. I'm gonna duck out 1 second, real quick, guys.
Yeah, good. They show you. They show her pretty. In the first episode, they show her fairly unclothed. I mean, she's dressed, and you go, wow, she's really took care of herself, because she's got to be about.
In her 40, 50?
About my age right now. About 42, 43.
Oh, well, it's not that old, yeah. No,
but I'm just saying she took care of herself. And she's always
an actress, yeah.
So this is my Venture Brothers t-shirt.
Nice. It's all Greek to me. It's all Greek to me.
But
no, it's been good. Yeah, I won't we'll go a little longer. So this Plex thing, it's a free channel. You install it on your Roku or your Chromecast or not.
Well, no, you have to have a separate server to run Plex. Okay. But I mean, somebody's actually made a version for Raspberry Pi. So if you have one of those laying around for like $20-30, you could put it on that. I think it's called Plex Pi. But if you get it, what you do is you go to plex.tv, I think it is, is the web address. Sign up for an account. When you've got a username, or you can give people either your username or your email address, and then we all make each other Plex buddies. I've got like 15 of them.
Yeah.
So I want for nothing. If I want to watch a TV, that was just on. If I go look, somebody has it.
Right.
My daughter absolutely adores Plex. She gets so mad at me. Like when I leave, I used to run my Plex server on my laptop. So when I left, I would take my laptop. So I did get a dedicated PC for a media server here, and she would get really upset with me because she's like, "Well, where's so and so's Plex? Where's this person's Plex? I want this person's Plex back."
Pro tip: Daryl Barnes is who you want to be a Plex.
Oh,
buddy.
really?
All I'm gonna say, you want to be friends with Daryl. He's got like 10 terabytes of shit. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know Obi had one either. Well, we should change subjects. But hey, for serious, Scott, you and I should do a not on air hurl sometime, because I think we geek out over some of the same stuff.
Yeah, and I only made it on air too because I want visibility, and I was just trying it out and see what would happen. And actually, Adam Black surprisingly said he's telling me how to hang out on air. He said, "Tip: add the real date and time to the description. These things chronically misreport the actual date and time for me and many people. This is what I see. Mini Blast, Matthew Rappaport and Company yesterday, July 11th, 11:58 p.m. I don't know what time zone he's in.
It did show. When I looked at it, it said it was over.
Oh, well, the thing is that I just chose now. Usually when you schedule it, it gives you a time, and but if you're doing it now, you just do it now. And so I did that, and I started, and I wasn't thinking about it says 7:58 to 8:28, so I guess we're like an hour and a half past that.
Yeah, so that's probably why it's saying over.
I guess I have to do edit event, but yeah, I just wish it would be, what's it called, intuitive enough, I guess. I hope so.
Yeah.
It doesn't handle the time zones.
I'll make it 4 hours. But it's interesting that people are like, "What? It's still going on there." I made it till like 11:58. There we go. Okay. So I wonder if it rechanges, like it'll re-swap it and be like, "Wait, now it's still going on. We made a mistake."
I just realized the last time I was in a HOA with Rappa, I think we were talking about hookers and porn.
Sounds nice. Sounds right. And we're hookers, porn. Actually, I have some HOAs that are. I went back to my YouTube that are private, that are long. I know some people were drunk at some. I've had some New Year's Eve ones just for the heck of it. People are like, "Why do you have that up?" I'm like, "Sorry." And
it was like you had that one 24-hour one on your 1 year anniversary.
That was crazy.
Oh,
that was
Lord.
fun though. I would not do it again. The second year I just did like 3 or 4 hours, but I didn't do. It was like literally did 24.
You did 24 hours, and I didn't catch you until the end of it, and you were like so wrecked.
I was, because I had wine, I had some food, I had some cupcakes, but I was trying to keep the energy going, and so I started at like 8 o'clock, and then I finished at like 9 o'clock the next day. I went an extra hour, so by the time I got to, I think I want to say 4 a.m., 5 a.m. from starting at 8, it was pretty bad as far as like people coming. People were still coming in, but they were like people waking up from the day that weren't up all night with me, and breakfast and coffee, and they're like, "Oh, hey," and they're all like cheering, and I'm like,
Yeah, I caught you at nighttime, like you had been going all day, and it was kind of late at night. It might have been like 11 or midnight, and there were quite a few people in there, and you were just kind of like, "Hey," you were like.
I was like, "Hey, look, Angie's here. Hey, Angie. Oh yeah, that person. Hey, we're still alive."
And you had like little props and stuff you were playing.
Oh
with.
yeah, I still have all. I probably have tons of props just that hang around, like a robot and a duck.
Nice.
Make out, and then wait, this is the killer robot, and this is the duck face.
There you go. Memories.
Memories. Yeah, maybe I'll do something in September for a third. I didn't really. So when I was at HP, I was doing interviews, so it wasn't my show, but I was still sort of like my show. So I might. Maybe I'll do more, but it's such a pain in the butt to do these shows. Like it's fun to do them, but those of you watching, I know a lot of people. I see shows spring up, and I guess on a few, like Chef Dennis Lindley does a bunch, Larry Fournier does some, I think, and this Mia Voss is doing some, and a lot of cool people are trying to do them. But I think the problem with the HOAs is they kind of can become the same every single week and every month, and like so after you've seen like someone's show like 2 or 3 times, you're like, I know what that person's about, I know what that show's about, and I don't need to see it anymore, you know?
Yeah.
That's how I
mean,
feel.
It's all about content, keeping it moving through.
Personality, sure.
I mean, like, to me, I'm not watching this, but I have watched some, conversation type ones where there's not really a topic and it's real fluid and everything, but I don't tend to stay on those a whole long time unless they're people that I know.
Yeah, there's that.
Because it's just not interesting to me.
Sure. There's that. And also, like, I suggested to Google, maybe this will happen. It'd be really cool if they use that algorithm that they use for Auto Awesome or whatever, and get clips from HOAs to present interesting pieces, like 2-minute clips or 3-minute clips. I'm not saying those, or an HOA story, and there would just be like little clips in that story, and you could title, caption the clip, and maybe make them YouTube videos. That way you can give highlights and not have to sit there and look through it yourself. I'm not saying that. Yeah, I'm gonna get it right.
It's just gonna end up like stories and those little
No.
videos they do.
Yeah,
like
no one uses.
Actually, they're little. They knocked it out of the park with one of my. They made me a video when I was in Trinidad. I went to the beach for a friend of mine's birthday, and it was freaking every other one I've deleted, but that one they just knocked it out of the park.
You could have saved it and just not shared it. They're like everyone you delete, like a little engineer gets a message saying it got deleted, and they start crying. They're like,
right?
No.
Why
Another story got deleted. Another piece of flesh comes off. Clement NG. That he's one of the.
Why do you hate us? Why do you hate us? Because I take a lot of pictures for work of like equipment, and okay, I have to send pictures in. It's like, okay, this is wrong. Okay, this is what they have. This is this, and so it'll be a story of like the beach and me hanging out with friends
and the equipment. But you can hit. That's why I always
a Raspberry Pi.
I'll hit the edit button and get rid of stuff and add stuff, but that's work. So
I don't have time for that.
You're like, exactly. Nobody got time for that. But that's my point with HOA too. I think there's so much great content, but it's not all great. It's like every single HOA has. Most HOAs have like a piece here and there that's funny, that's interesting. Yeah. Sound bites, sound clips, but nobody wants to sit there and listen.
I really like Stacy's cooking ones. She hasn't. I don't know how long it's been since she did one. Taiwan on with Stacy Frazier.
Well, because to keep that momentum and keep that energy, especially for a cooking show, buying the food, getting food, doing it every weekend. You have your own life, you have work, and then it becomes. I think if you're not getting the viewers, you're not getting the response you want after months, after whatever, then it starts to get a little what's the word? Frustrating.
Well,
and then
tedious and not rewarding, and if you don't get that reward.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like here, like 50, 60 people. Look, I just got a comment from Bernard Tremblay. 60 people are like, oh, we'll be interested in all these comments. And I think maybe, I don't know what it is, the algorithm or whatever, but if in the past this wasn't happening. And what does he say? I'll just read his comment. It's probably, watch, I was going to take part. Yeah, you can take part, Bernard. I hesitated a long moment and realized that I have reason. Watch, Matthew. Neither of us fell off the turnip truck this morning. How about participate? Some of us care about such details. What? Just taught.
Google Translate, baby.
Yeah, no, it's there. I wasn't making fun of Adam. I clicked the start now and was not looking at the date thing, and the whole million things to think about thing shouldn't be. There shouldn't be a million things to think about, especially when you just want to do it. Is what I'm saying. But thanks, Bernard, for that helpful criticism. Thank you.
Well, like I said, this is not. I would not expect a lot of people to be watching this because this is not something that I would not be interested in watching. 4 or 5 strangers talking to each other.
Right.
Honestly.
Well, most people jumping in though are people that we know, and that's what I'm saying. We just built all these connections with all these people, and everyone that watched, and for the most part, I know. There may be people that are commenting. Yeah, so there's that. Now I understand why Christopher Franco said got the invite too late. He thought it was over.
Yes, because it showed over when I joined.
But it should still say the word live somewhere. I mean, I don't know.
I gotta go.
It might now.
Yeah, who's gotta go? Scott?
I gotta go. I'm sorry.
Oh wait, before you go, parting thoughts on TV or the LG watch or something?
Oh, the watch is a game changer. It's I think Mike Elgin said it best. It was like you don't expect it to be as good as it's going to be, and it's as revolutionary as the iPad was when it came out from a usability standpoint and from a simplifying life standpoint. You don't think. I think it's just going to be some extra shit on that you have to think about, but instead it takes an existing experience and makes it 10 times easier.
Hey, Scott, just real quick, I have a friend that's looking for somebody to write a review on one of those for his website, so if you're interested, let me know.
If he wants, he can take my review. He can go write the blog.
Oh, you already did one?
Is your friend Derek Ross?
No, it's not Derek. Okay. It's actually Rob Marshall.
Cool.
Oh, Rob? I'll tell Rob he can take mine.
Scott's like, I know Rob.
Yeah,
But
Rob's looking for
crush on-
content.
Looking for content at all the right places.
Yeah, the Dapper. I can't remember what his new website is. The Dapper something. I can't remember.
He's local in DC. We were going to get together and do some. Yeah, he's. I know, we just haven't hooked up. He's got a business on the side.
Wait, is he in DC or is he in Texas? He moves all over the place.
He's here now. I know. I'm pretty sure he's still here. Last time I talked to him, he was. I know. Well, I know he hit me up to do some wine, so he must be.
Well, we have to hang out next time I'm in DC, Scott. I didn't know.
Oh shit! You mean you know where to find me? Just hit me up with a message here. I'll get the notification and we'll hang out.
Right.
Or,
Okay.
We'll be complex buddies. I'll give you
Come to New York.
There's my blog. You can always get to me through there too.
Okay, cool. I
understand that most of that. I'm a very nice guy, but my hobby is trolling the piss out of people.
That's pretty much 90% of my circles.
Yeah. So trolls are fun people. So do be aware that anything you read on that blog is probably intended to incite a reaction.
A reaction, yeah. Got it.
Yeah. So, all right.
I'm good with that. Awesome to see you.
This was great. Do this more often, Matt.
Yeah, cool. I want to do it more often. Thanks, Scott. Thanks for being in here.
Maybe not on air.
Well, so the cool thing, it's cool. So yeah, I could do it off air too, but I feel like the off air one someone shows up for. So
I want to do. I like the idea that right now people are seeing me and they can't. That's funny.
It's funny to me. And you're gonna live on my YouTube channel. Yeah, I mean, other people could. I put the link out there, Bernard, and all these other people. It's out there. I put it in a bunch of comments, but there's no good way to put the link out for people to just join. You know?
Yeah.
They don't have that yet. So for an on air. But yeah, Scott, go. It's your girlfriend, right? Not your wife, or?
Yeah, it's my Jen.
Jen.
God, before I forget, Angie. Before I forget,
Yeah.
You took this picture of me and Jen hugging at Rory's party.
Yes.
Can you send it to me?
Absolutely. I thought I sent it to you already.
I can't remember.
Well, if you guys want to hug right now, I'll take a new picture.
Yeah, it was like it was the most. It was the sweetest picture, Matt. They were like on the porch at Rory's, and Scott had. Didn't you have the cowboy hat on?
Yeah, I had the cowboy hat on.
The Cam Meadows hat
they
on.
just were
like
like
a Bon Jovi song. Yeah.
Yeah, he had, and it was so funny because Cam immediately went out to his car and got like 2 more hats or something.
Yeah, me and Cam and who was the third cowboy?
I can't remember, but
Cam's
yeah,
friend?
Cam's friend. It wasn't Cam's friend.
Bobby had the cowboy hat. Bobby too.
Yes, everyone wore that cowboy hat. I think it has an STD now. But yeah, no, Scott and his girlfriend, they were so sweet, and they were like hugging, and then they started like swaying, and I was like, that is the sweetest thing.
You guys didn't know, I love my Jen.
I could tell. I was touched. I was very touched at that moment.
Thank you. Either way, okay, I gotta go.
Okay, I'll find that pic for you.
Thank you so much. Love you guys.
Mr.
Bye,
Wilson. And Scott Wilson's blog is blog.sawilson.org. Hey, W.
And he's a
Walker.
pretty awesome guy.
He's pretty cool. Yeah, I met him with you.
Yes, we were all together at the same place at the same time. Imagine
Yeah,
that.
that was a year ago.
Yes, it was. Hey, I'm gonna have to duck too because I have to catch a plane at like 6 in the morning.
Where are you going? World travel?
I'm just going to Florida this time.
Oh, you should shoot up to the northeast.
I would love to, but I'm not 100% sure, but I may see Heather Manfredi. I'm not sure right now, and Joe Vincent. I will see some Plessers while I'm there for sure.
All right, have a good night.
Okay, you know I love you, Maddie. I just really wanted to hop in and say hi to you, baby. I haven't seen you in a while. And everybody else, good to see you guys. Nick, Paul, I'm not sure if I know who W is.
Jeffrey just joined us. Hey, Jeffrey from Wisconsin.
But you guys have fun.
Happy
Friday,
weekend.
y'all.
Cheers. This is Hang Out on Air, Mini Blast, Mini Weekend, Rappaport. Angie just left. Jeffrey Powers, Geeky Scene just joined us. W. Walker is here too. Nick Scholl. Yeah, we're just hanging out. It's pretty relaxed, and it's interesting. I was saying, Friday night, people jumping in. It's crazy. I think maybe spontaneous hangouts on air are just maybe better. The production might not be better, the topic might not be better, but the result is better. So maybe I should more spontaneous on airs. What do you guys? Jeffrey? How are you? How you been? What's up in your world? I like your Google stuff you got going on.
Yeah, thanks. I don't have my Google Glass nearby. I'd put them on, so.
It's all right.
Things have been going great, doing lots of videos and having a lot of fun in the tech space, and got back from Detroit a couple weeks ago, did a bunch of videos there, just figuring out my next moves.
You were at I/O too?
What was that?
Were you at I/O?
No, they didn't want me there. I
Seriously, they didn't want you there?
I disrupt the I/O and they didn't want me there.
You were going to be the person talking about the killer robots, or?
No, I could have talked about killer robots. I have a 150-page PDF on killer robots.
Jeffrey, you were my second guest ever on Hangout Conversations. No, I think Daniel Armendariz was.
I was the first.
All right, we'll make you the first. Wait, W. Walker. So I don't know what is that from W? The sound? I have to mute him. Sorry, man. All right, did that take care of the sound problem? Yeah, I had to mute you, W. You were coming in fuzzy. But yeah, it seemed like I mean, it was like yesterday. It was like 3 years ago already, but
yeah, Bacon Cat, 2011.
2011 Bacon Cat, 2011. I can't believe it's been 3 years. What's changed since that time for you and your Google Plus experience?
Oh, let's see. Just keep working the videos and the pages, the communities. In 2012, I started the podcaster community. And that grew for me. Plus, I've been moderating some other communities and.
So are communities really kind of like when it comes to Google Plus? Is that your home base at the communities?
Not really. I mean, it's all different things. So
All right, I had to block. I didn't block him, but I had to eject him out of the call because he kept unmuting himself.
Sounded like he was in a vacuum cleaner or something.
Right. That's the tough thing with Hangouts too. It's like W. Walker, I wanted you here, but your sound was pretty bad.
Yeah, I've had that. I've had those problems too, so I know what that's like. So, What have you been up to?
Yeah, so I was at HuffPost for a while, and then they decided. What did Alexander say? Don't hate those of us who like a plan wrap up. No plans. I get plans. This was random and spontaneous, and it's Friday night, and you could be here. You can be there. Yeah. So I'm working actually with these guys on this cool Ocho video app. Consulting with them. It's kind of like Vine, but it's a little bit more serious, and it's Ocho for 8 seconds instead of 6. It's only available on iOS right now. Hopefully Android will be soon, but I mean, and I'm also looking at other gigs.
8.5 seconds. We're half a second after you.
Exactly, but they do have some voiceover and some editing and filtering, and I mean, it's a tough space. I mean, Vine and Instagram are already there, and hopefully it'll grow. But I don't know, startups and apps. I mean, everyone I think is hoping that one of them hits and one of them it makes it. Are there certain new apps that you guys are trying out, like? That you like? I mean, some of the social apps. I mean, I know Slingshot. I don't know how people are using that, and Yo. People are making fun of Yo. Is there any real use out of Yo or Slingshot? Or I mean, I guess you already have Snapchat. Are any apps that hit you guys that you're like had to use or would recommend? No.
I was actually in New York in May for TechCrunch Disruptive to find the new apps, and. There were a few that came out, and they were okay, but, there's nothing to start a fire under. I'm just sitting here wondering what the next one is. I just got an email from someone a couple days ago saying, "Hey, we got the next new app that's gonna turn heads," and I looked at it for 5 seconds. It's like, I don't think so, but we'll see what happens.
What was it? Which one? The new app that was going to turn heads. What did it do?
I can't say.
Oh, it's okay. Confidential.
NDA. So, but the bottom line is, they better find somebody that has $1 million and is just completely oblivious to that.
So when you look at, we can agree that Instagram is successful, but something like Vine, is Vine successful or it's still kind of iffy?
Well, Vine got bought out, didn't it?
Well, Twitter owns.
Yeah, it was very successful.
But Twitter bought Vine before it even launched, didn't I thought?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. They bought them. I think that's a pretty damn successful app, if you ask me.
Right.
Doesn't matter what it does.
Right.
Bought out. It's like, here, I just made something from scratch and got $2 million. Or what did they get for it?
The company was successful, sure. I guess you can call it successful. That I just meant like the lifespan.
Well, the reality is Vine's still around, and it's growing on some of the comedians' circuits. So I'd say that. What's really missing is a silly speech balloon type. So you're doing a video and you get like captionist type stuff. That would probably go off pretty well.
Like an anagram, annotation. I mean.
Yeah, like I just slid on a slip and slide and I bonked my head on a big rock and I stand up and I'm holding my head and then it freezes and there's like a big speech balloon caption this or something
like Batman.
That.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be a big next step.
Well, this app has voiceover, so voiceover, sound effects, all that stuff. I think people would like all that, but I don't necessarily know that they would use it. It becomes kind of like a novelty, right?
Can it put like graphics, like little like a Batman type thing? We could do a little fight and then get a pow going on and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, maybe. I mean, the one this Ocho has Instagram filters type things for the video. I don't know how great that is, but yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't really know what I mean. Snapchat, when that came out, I was like, all right, I don't see why it's so great. People love it. People sit there and like, first it was just sending each other messages. Now I see people will take their whole day and make like story after story after story. So it's one long story at the end of the day, or they do it really quickly.
How was chat roulette popular?
Is it still popular?
But no, but that's not my question. My question is, how was chat roulette popular in its day?
Yeah.
What made that popular?
People
the
wanted
same thing that makes Snapchat popular.
Porn.
I'm
yeah. No,
I'm taking a picture of my junk and sending it, and you get to see it for a second. That's it.
Right. No, I get that. That's basic. But there are plenty of people that don't use it for that. I mean,
yeah. I mean, you do have people that do, but the reality is, I can still snap a picture of my junk and send it. It's not that I do, but people do.
Right.
And then
we all have what? But still, yeah, seconds. I mean, it's only like 6 seconds or 5 seconds. I mean,
yeah.
People are. I guess I just think it's funny. It's like, I want you to see my junk, but I want to make sure that you can't possibly capture it in time or save it, or I mean the whole whatever. I think it's kind of silly. I mean, I get it, but I don't like all right, so like if someone had a picture of just your junk, like what are they gonna do with it? Oh, say it's your junk somewhere, like just post it. I mean, I don't really know. And then what are you gonna say? Oh yeah, that's me. You got me. Like what? Anyway, it's kind of funny. Hey,
there was a company at TechCrunch Disrupt that was building a social network with that same process. You get to see it for a certain amount of time and then it's gone. And I talked to him about it and go, well, why would you want to have a social network where none of your stuff could be cataloged, researched, plussed, or whatever, and liked or whatever? And he goes, well, there's a lot of celebrities out there that want to put something out, but they don't want it if it's something stupid, or if they just don't want to go past them. So they'll post it out and they'll have a short shelf life, and then boom, they're on their way. So I guess Justin Bieber could take a picture of his junk or whatnot, and then it'd be gone within a few seconds. If he wanted to.
I don't think he cares that much. I think he's doing just fine, even though people have mixed reactions to him. That's an interesting thing. Celebrities and social media. Do you think celebrities and social media are still as high as they were? Do you think they're on the decline, or do you think they're still the same? I mean, I definitely on Google Plus, I feel like the celebrities took a decline, but the Twitter, are they still like?
Celebrities are celebrities. I mean, last night Dana Carvey basically said, when I got on Twitter, I was told follow if you follow everybody, and I bet you he got a few thousand Twitter follows last night, simply because of the fact he said, I'll follow you back if you follow me.
Right, they do.
A celebrity is a celebrity, and the reality is that we've got some of our people coming into celebrityism, such as Nick Hardwick from who's
Chris
doing
Chris Hardwick.
That's it. Yeah. So it's kind of crossing the other way is some of us are becoming celebrities, and we're growing our circles throughout the world, and I think that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, definitely, it's cool. It's definitely cool to see how everybody's connecting and people being able to. I'm sorry, I'm distracted by the comments. We're going a couple hours already, but this guy Bernard Tremblay is really trolling the comment section. Yeah, I know, it's been interesting to see the personalities on Google Plus and on the internet take off, and people do different things. Hangouts on Air is a great example. The stream as well. We were talking about the LG Watch. So what's exciting? So we're what, halfway through 2014. Anything exciting the next you hope to see in the next 6 months before to end the year? Any technology or something with Google Plus or Hangouts or?
No, I saw that.
Really.
I don't know if you saw that Kickstarter for that cooler. That was the Coolest, I think it's called.
No.
It's really sweet. It's basically a cooler that's got LED lighting in it. It's got a blender on top of it. It's got, you know, all the stuff that you need a cooler to do, and you could charge your iPhone with it. It's got enough battery life in there apparently to do stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty sweet. Other than that, everybody's waiting for the iWatch to come out. I think that Android came out. The Android Wear stuff that came out was pretty decent, but still in the vaporware section until we really start to get into. Not to say vaporware, that's kind of stupid, but
no, I think the iWatch will be. I think it'll be when they're ready to release it. I'm sure it'll be. I would think it would be as good as the Samsung, the LG, and the Moto. I don't know. You don't think so? You don't think it would be?
No, I definitely do think so. What I think is going to happen is I think they're working on making sure that iWatch can read a lot of your vitals. The biggest one, the race right now in the healthcare market is for a device to do away from diabetics pricking a finger. You know, like Charles Yum, who I interviewed over at South by Southwest, he made the breathometer, and he said he's working on a version where you blow it into the iPhone, and it'll tell you your blood sugar. And I think Apple's working on a sensor that will tell you your blood sugar as you go, and I think that's where their major stumbling point is right now. Besides all the other health, you know, heart rate and blood pressure and stuff like that on the watch.
I'm getting an important text. Sorry, random people like telling me that they can't make the Hangout. They can't. Shout out to different people out there. McDermott, Lori, Alex, a lot of other people. Crooklyn. Yeah, I think that a watch that could do all that would definitely blow away all the Google type watches, especially if it comes out sooner. Even though Google has Google Fit coming out, it would be interesting to see what happens. But I do have a feeling that the iWatch is going to be way more expensive, right? You don't think?
That's a good question. It really depends. I don't think you can get past a $500 price point. But then again, Google Glass is $1,500 right now, so we'll see what happens. But I bet I'd have a hard time to believe that they're going to put out a watch that's going to be more than $500.
Maybe. What do you guys? Oh, hey, what's up? Hey, Mark. Nice to meet you. I see you in the stream all the time. Thanks for watching. It looks like there's sunlight over by you, huh?
Yeah, there a little bit here. Actually, I'm frozen. I'm trying to unfreeze myself.
Oh, you're just like the most popular Disney movie of all time.
There we go. Frozen. I said, hold on. There we go. Cheers, Matthew.
Let it go.
Cheers, man. Let it go. Do you want to build a Hangout snowman?
Sure.
No, I don't really. Yeah, I don't have the capabilities to do that. Yeah, what do you think? What about like Mark? What do you think about what the watches that came out and we had Scott Wilson was in here not long ago demonstrating his LG watch, and it seems.
Yeah, I saw that. It looks awesome. I sent him a message. I want one. I gotta have that. It looks totally cool.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. And he said it seems to work where he doesn't even barely need to use his phone. It's mostly his watch. He said the phone is mostly phone calls, but he gets all kinds of notifications on his watch, and
Yeah.
so it'd be interesting to see that for sure.
Well, this thing is. I'm constantly dropping it. It's not. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not. It's not wearable, and I find myself. I'm always. It's always in an awkward place. Taking a picture and all that. So wearables make a lot more sense. Totally. Don't you think?
No, I think they do. I think they totally make sense, but I'm not used to wearing a watch. I used to wear a watch, but I'm not used to wearing a watch, and Paul's playing with all the Hangout apps. Yeah, I don't know. I'm willing to try it out. I just think, like, there's not a need for it. I get what it does. I get, like, if you wear a watch, that's fine. And I get it's not fumbling with your phone and it's right there, but it's another thing you have to worry about keeping charged, and another thing you have to, I guess the point is to have so many devices that you don't have to think about where you left your phone or where you left something, although you do, I think, because you need the phone with you to have the watch work, right? So your phone, now, instead of just figuring out where do I put my phone, where do I put my phone, where do I put my watch, where do I put my Google Glass, where do I put my Nexus or my iPad, and where do I put my laptop, like now, like, after a while, you're like, then where did I put my ankle bracelet, where did I put my, after my implant, my earring, after a while, there's going to be so many things, like, and then you're going to have a backpack full of, like, thousands of dollars of gear that's your life, that has probably, like, I get there's radiation, but I don't know, like, how many, the more devices you have, the worse. Everyone was all scared of, like, the phone radiation, but I can't imagine with all the devices connected, all these different batteries. But
it makes sense. I mean, just that, the phone itself, that's the main thing about, you can obviously have so much with just one piece. So having more stuff to hawk around is definitely a problem, especially if the phone winds up being a base for the watch. That's kind of a hassle. If you have to have the phone to make the watch work.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying. Like, I think that Samsung is developing, I think it's Samsung maybe, or someone, is developing a watch that doesn't work that you don't need a phone for. That's a rumor, but I don't necessarily know how well that would work. Jeffrey, you have any insight on the standalone smartwatch without a phone?
Well, if the technology is there, we could build something that small. So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody did make a watch. It would still be bigger than a regular watch, but it's very possible. We're in Dick Tracy territory here.
Do you think if that was the case, do you think it would make phone calls then?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
right,
I wouldn't be surprised.
So it basically be like a smartphone watch.
Well, eventually, the one big debate that I've been having with a lot of technology people is the question: do we call it a phone anymore? Because the last thing that we do with our phones nowadays is make a phone call. What is this technically called? And I just got done reviewing the Samsung Galaxy S5, and that thing has all these bells and whistles, health features, and then their low power feature where you can just turns into a phone and a text, an SMS device. It's like, whoa, that's crazy, just a phone? That doesn't make sense to me. So eventually we went from the phone being on our hips to the phone being in our pockets. So it just makes sense that it's going to be on our wrists or on another part of our body, so we don't even need to pull it out of our pocket.
Yeah, no, it does. Do you? And so, and you use glass. You've been using glass now for for about a year, Jeff, or longer?
Actually, yeah, it was a year, 2 days ago that I went to LA and picked up my first pair, one of 6.
You have 6 pairs of Google Glass?
No, I went through 6 pairs of Google Glass.
Oh, you went through 6. Okay, between breaking and new versions and.
Yeah.
Cool.
And this has been a very fun ride with Google Glass. I've had a lot of celebrity interaction with it. Names such as let's see, I had Michael Pena wear my Google Glass, Jim Brewer wore my Google Glass, most recently Jesse Eisenberg wore my Google Glass.
Was this at a festival in LA? Where was that? Where did they do?
Jesse was at a Ford event. When I was out South by Southwest, I had a lot of people doing it. Back at CES, the famous Christopher Lloyd picture
Yeah, I was going to ask you about
Here's
that.
Doc Brown standing next to a DeLorean wearing Google Glass. Well, guess what? This was that pair of Google Glass. Well, technically not this pair, but yeah, I was the one that offered up my Google Glass for him to wear because it only made sense and it made the moment even better. So I'm kind of proud of that moment and really make geek happen.
So what did you get to? Yeah, so Christopher Lloyd, he just put it on for the picture. He didn't actually use it, did he?
No, he didn't. Well, he ended up taking a picture from it, but it was such a blurry, because the button's right there. So it was such a blurry picture. It really didn't make much sense. But yeah, but he didn't use it.
Yeah, I think Google Glass is again great concept, interesting idea. I think I know plenty of people that have it. I've been in groups with people. Google Glass New York. I've tried it on. They weren't necessarily comfortable for me. I never got used to them. I just think there's so much that gets like locked up on your timeline, and I don't know if that happens with the watch. I don't really know, but I just felt like there were so many different things that got clogged up on the timeline, and trying to get things and trying to get it in the right light and getting the screen to pop up and to scroll to the right thing. And sure, you could have that issue with your phone, but I just felt like it was just so much slower, and I had to focus more than your phone. I might not be looking down, but I'm looking up, and I just feel like that it was never at the level where it was out of the way. Did you? I mean, you get used to it, Jeffrey, or?
Well, yeah, I've gotten used to. Well, first of all, I've worn glasses. I wore glasses since the 3rd grade. So about 10 years ago, I pretty much got done with wearing glasses. I said I never wear glasses again, and I got Google Glass last year. So I'm kind of used to that whole having frames on and stuff like that. As for convenience, I think it's a lot better than pulling a phone out of your pocket, because if somebody, let's say I'm talking to you, and I get a text message.
You talking to me?
I'm talking to you.
Are you talking
to me? I'm talking to you. You talking to me? So anyway,
there's no one else here. I know you must be talking to me.
So let's say, well, let me put this on. Let me look cool for
glass
a second.
Away.
I'm glass away. Put the shades on. So let's say I'm having a nice conversation with all you guys, and then all of a sudden it's like a text message comes on, and it's like, oh, hey, I need to answer. I need to take care of this.
Is that your John Travolta? It's like your John Travolta Mafia boys.
Vito just contacted me. I need to take care of this, so I'll see you guys later. But if Vinny calls me and says, hey, you're going over and get pastrami or something like that, I can go, no, I can answer him later, and I can continue the conversation with you and have a lot of fun with that.
Right. No, I get what you're saying. I just don't. It just takes work.
Yeah, it does.
It takes work.
It does.
But I do think, I guess there's that little, the glass has that little shade thing. Not everyone has it, but their little piece to give you shade to give so the screen is not being outdone by light, right?
What do you mean, the shades or what?
Not the shades. There's like a little piece you could put to block out sun, to block out light. You know what I'm talking about? There's like a little
3D.
tiny.
Are you talking about the 3D printed stuff?
Is that what it is? Maybe a little tiny piece. Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are making 3D printed, privacy filters to put over the camera lens, shades to cover so the light doesn't go through when you're taking the pictures and stuff like that. So, a 3D printer, 3D printers and Google Glass seem to go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Hey Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Well, how about driving with them on?
Do you drive? I don't know if you drive.
That's what my chauffeur is for.
That's what your what is for?
That's what my chauffeur is for.
Exactly, his chauffeur dress. Why, Mark? Do you have a pair, Mark?
No, but I'd like to, but it's on my on my high-end list of things that I can't afford right now.
The answer to that is some people say it's not distracting. Some people do say it's distracting. I say it's really dependent on how you drive. I mean, whether you're wearing a pair of Google Glass, checking your phone, eating a piece of chicken, putting on your makeup, or anything like that. If you are not a multitask driver, then it doesn't matter what you have in your hand. You shouldn't have in your hand. I used to take the flip phone. I don't have my flip phone. I'll just simulate on my tricorder here. I used to take my old flip phone with the raised buttons and sit here and drive and text and not even look at the buttons, because I knew that the number 5 button had a raised tab on it, so I knew where 5 was, And then I just had to remember ABC is number 2, DEF, GHI, so on and so forth. And I just sat there and I texted while I was driving. I could multitask like that all day, and I did it a lot back in 2000 to 2007 when I had phones like, actually 2004. Then I got my Razor, and then I lost that raised button feel. But I could do that with my Nokias all day.
Okay. Yeah, I wish Angie was here. I wonder about, because I hear a lot about it. Taking those. You can't take those in casinos in Vegas.
I've taken mine into many casinos.
No problem.
Well, I don't sit in front of a gambling machine. I don't sit in front of the craps table. And if I did, yeah, I would probably take them off. But
Right.
yeah, as long it's like with cameras. As long as you're not in the gambling areas, if you're walking through a casino, there's no problem. If you
Yeah,
stop
but people
and
use their
start playing
phones
games,
too. Yeah, and I think you're not allowed to have your phone out at the table, or you can some places. It depends where you are. So every casino seems different, but yeah, the watch seems much more viable than the glass. It's easier to take on and take off. It's a lot quicker. I don't know if it has better battery life, and specifically more for notifications, I think. Whereas the glass, you're really trying to do other stuff. I think the watch is mostly for notifications, right, Jeffrey? More so?
I don't know about the watch, but the glass, yeah, for the most part, the glass is. The other biggest problem is replying to something. Let's say Matt sent me a text message, I could say, okay, glass, reply, and then it's really a crapshoot whether it gets what I say right or wrong, or if it even can connect to Google's servers through my phone, because it's still got to go through my phone to go out to find the speech recognition to bring it back and say this is what you mean. So I could literally do a reply 4 or 5 times before it was right, before I could send it to you.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah. So Mark, I've seen Mark in the stream. We've interacted a little. Nick, yeah.
At this
Nick chimed
point,
in. I didn't know you were going to. Yeah.
I was trying to have it all night, but is Google Glass worth the money right now?
The answer simply is...
From an educated standpoint.
What's that?
From an educated standpoint, you've had hands-on experience of Google Glass. Is it worth the money right now?
It really depends on what you do. If you are a programmer of glass, yeah, it's vital to what you do. You got to get yourself a pair of glass. If you are a weekend warrior, a photographer, or something like that want to get a pair of glass just to try it out, no. In the next 6 months, right now, technically there was a price drop, although Google did it in a way where it's like, okay, it's $1,500 for a pair of glass, but you can get yourself a set of frames or the special glasses that brings up another $200, $250 to that. So technically, a pair of glass now is about $1,250. I'm thinking in the next 6 months, especially when it comes released, we'll see a big price drop, and that's when it'll probably be the time to really ask yourself the question, do I want this for part-time stuff? But if you're using it to build apps or do stuff in the glass area, then it's more than worth it.
Yeah, and I see more and more people like walk around, even like while I'm in New York City, so it's different. But more and more people walk around with it on than before. But I think it could be one of those things where you get addicted to it and you're using it for a long time, and then you just get tired of it, or you get past that, or at the very beginning, those 3 things, and you can't get past the way it looks or the way it feels. And one of the most annoying things for me when I use it for a long period of time, an hour or more, is it's uncomfortable. I have a headache afterwards, and really different light situations. I'll be in a room. At work, I could be in a room with a lot of light, and go to another room with different light, and I really need to find a place to be able to see that notification. Otherwise, I can't read what it says.
Well, once again, if you've ever worn glasses, you've always had to deal with stuff like that, because even glasses are not... They help you correct your vision, but in all reality, it's something that your eyes are not expecting to have in front of you. They get used to it, but even with my glasses, I have to take them off every now and then and just kind of go like this with my with my face and then put them back on. So and anybody that wears glasses knows that's every now and then you just got to take them off and just kind of refocus and then put them back on and go from there. Same thing with glass. It's no different.
So you think people?
I could see how it caused significant eye strain, to be honest.
Yeah, it does.
I mean,
it can. Yeah. So do you think that if you're someone that wears glasses, or you're saying they have an advantage, you're used to it already?
Not necessarily. I mean, it really depends on how your vision focuses. If I can focus from this point to this point a lot faster than you can, it's going to be easier for me to really wear glasses. But if you're really struggling to focus in on a point right here, yeah, it's going to hurt your eyes a little bit more because you're working your muscles.
It's a fair point, and that's what it was. I mean, that's like all these different devices, all these screens. I think I'm going to wrap up the next 5 minutes or so, but like we were talking about movies and TV shows a little bit too. I know there were some celebrities, you mentioned celebrities wearing it. Did any of them comment on it? Did Jesse Eisenberg talk about the experience, like, or was it quick? Like, what was...
A lot of conversations I've had were basically the same conversations that I've had with everybody else. Are you recording me? How does it work? Does it go straight up to the cloud? How do you hook it to the phone? Stuff like that. So Jesse Eisenberg had the best conversation with me on it because he was really interested in the glass. Michael Pena it was a great conversation with that too. Jim Brewer was very interested in him, and he saw him, and we talked a little bit about glass and comedy, and that was pretty cool. So, but it's just basic interest. How does it work? Why does it work? Are you recording me? Things like that.
There for a while, Maria Caban at Fox 11 in Los Angeles, when we would do our morning hangouts and talk to celebs there, she would have the celebs try on the Google Glass, and all of them were like, "Oh, that's kind of nifty," and that was it. I mean, nobody was like, "I gotta have one of these" or anything like that. They're like, "Oh, that's a cool, almost like a party trick or a gimmick, a carnival gimmick."
Yeah,
and that's all that they wanted to know about it.
That's probably about right. I mean, most people they put on the glass, they see a couple screens, they get their picture taken with it, and then they give it back, and that's how it works.
Yeah.
But she's great, Maria, and she's definitely done a lot in the Hangout community, gotten a lot of great celebrities, a lot of great interviews, and I wish we could get more of that. It's just like I talked about earlier, the Hang On Air community and the Hang On Air popularity, and it has fluctuated. The idea that I don't do a show as often as I used to, just to do a spontaneous one, I'm getting this kind of reaction is really cool, but I wonder if it is the spontaneous nature that makes it more interesting than just like something you've been planning for a long time. I did a few celebrity interviews, Wilmer Valderramas and Gabby Douglas and some other stuff. And we had a decent turnout, but I think those were also like during the afternoon on a weekday versus a Friday night, or a Saturday morning in the AM hours where people are home or they're free and they're not at work. So maybe it's better to do live shows, more spontaneous and more on weekends, and it's better, for the live response. I don't know, but hopefully going forward you get more cool connections with Hangouts on Air and people. And I don't know how all of you found the Hangouts. That'd be interesting. Did you see it in the stream? Did I invite you? Like, where did you guys notice that there was a Hangout going on? Like,
I go to where the cool stuff is.
Cool. He's Jeffrey. Translation: I will not give away my secrets.
No, I just go to where it's cool. It's like cool stuff. Okay, I'm there.
But how did you? I'm saying, like, would you want to reveal how you saw it? Like, was it in your stream?
I just know.
All right.
Like, hey,
It was in the stream.
I'm sitting in my easy chair, having a beer, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, Matthew Rappaport, got to go see him.
Bam.
They're getting a beanbag eating Cheetos. Yeah. I actually saw it too. It's at the bottom of the buddy list thing or Hangout toolbar or whatever we call it.
Right.
And I got a notification up in the bell thing.
You got a bell notification? Cool.
Yes.
And what did it just say that I invited you to hang out on air?
It said that that you invited me to a video call.
Okay. What about you, Mark? And Mark said on the stream? Cool. Yeah, and I mean, I guess the bumping does work. I guess when people, I don't know, like if people say they will watch or that they'll comment or they bump, it sends it soaring through the stream. But yeah, it's an interesting strategy. If you're out there and you're wondering about your Hangout on Air audience, besides connecting with people in the obvious relationship building, and getting to know people and all that, the idea that you don't promote your Hangout on Air for 7 days or 10 days. Maybe you only promote it like for a day or not at all. You just wing it like this and see what happens. But there is no right way to do it. But I'd like to thank everyone for watching and joining me. And I could go on forever, but really, people are not going to watch all the way till the end.
Maybe they will.
Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. Cheers. Thanks for joining me. Is there any last thing you want to say? You want to plug your website? Plug anything? Anything come in? And then after this, maybe I'll do like a not off-air hangout, possibly. Yeah, Nick, you don't have to raise your hand. Just go ahead.
You also see my fireworks pictures. They're really cool. I posted them a few days ago, but they're pretty cool. So.
Fireworks, yeah, July 4th. Yeah, you didn't burn your fingers off. Did you almost burn your fingers off?
No, it was a professional show.
Yeah. No
There's no pyrotechnics for me.
No pyrotechnics. I've done that as a kid. I used to.
So did I.
Fingers off?
These are robotic.
Okay.
But
I knew you were a cyborg.
I am a cyborg. And as a teenager, I'd spent some summers on a farm in the Midwest in South Dakota, and the fireworks are legal there. Just every July 4th, I'd be there. A couple of July 4ths, we'd just go in and buy a bunch of stuff. I'm like, oh, what's this? They had all these weird names, and little ones and big ones. Some of them were fireworks, some of them were just set them off. But the fire hose was ready because
legal as long as you put your own fires out. Yeah, legal as long as you put your own fires out.
Right, I sent a few these fireworks are unpredictable. You think they're going to go straight up, and sometimes they don't do that.
No, we don't.
They don't do that. What about you, Mark? You've been in the stream, you've been enjoying Google Plus, and I've only recently connected with you in the last month or so, right? Or no?
Yeah. Well, it's been a couple of months. You know what's weird is that the way that this one has something to do with the internet providers, because right now Nick and I, there's no delay. I can hear his voice, but you and Jeffrey are about 2 or 3 seconds behind. So it's kind of awkward if it's like that. I'm sorry, Jeff. Yeah.
Oh, there's a delay?
Yeah, there's an awkward delay. So
I didn't even realize that's a connection, right?
Yeah, I think it has to do with the fact that the way that we're talking about originally, how you had it set up, is that for some reason it's going into YouTube instead of staying in at the event, Hangout on Air event. So somehow me and Nick are together, and you and Nick, are they delayed for you?
A little tiny bit. It seems like I didn't see Jeff's mouth moving when he was talking to me.
Interesting. Because you guys, you know what's really weird? Maybe it's because I'm the host. You guys are all in perfect time for me. I see everybody everybody's talking at the same time. I don't.
Okay, that's cool.
The way it is, I've always said it this way. Way before there was Google Hangouts and Skype connections and stuff like that, it's only as fast as its slowest connection. So you got to remember, your signal bounces 5 times before it even hits that Google server. And then ours does the same thing. So yeah, there's going to be delay. I wouldn't even just look at your face. Now I look at your face, but just don't pay attention to stuff like that.
But I like the unscripted idea. I think that's you look at these weekly events and they're all great and participating is a lot of fun, but they do get kind of stale after a while, Matthew. I mean, I do agree that it's very predictable.
Yeah.
So
and it can be, and it could be the same people. Yeah, and it could be the same topics. And even here, we discuss Google Plus, we discuss tech, we discuss movies and TV, and we didn't talk World Cup, but those are popular topics. I mean, sometimes it's good to be all over the map. Sometimes it's good to be very focused. Depends on what you're doing.
Well, so it's great to have both. Have an agenda sometimes, and then like this, unscripted.
Yeah, and actually, when Hangouts on Air first started, we didn't know what would happen, what the deal would be. We were obviously do them before. We were doing them on Ustream and screen sharing, but then when the Hangouts on Air happened, I just it was like the regular Hangouts. We hit start, everyone would jump in. There'd be at that time, I think you could only have 8 people, not 10, for the first.
No, it was always 10. It was always 10.
Okay, I don't remember, but I thought maybe. But yeah, we would just let it run, and it would run for a really long time, and I would just sit here, and people would jump in and jump out, and I don't necessarily know that. I don't remember what the YouTube connection was when we first started, but we definitely didn't have the event page yet. But there were these long comment threads. Sometimes they would get up to like 300, 500 comments. And I see a lot of comments, but I don't think it's there. It's as it once was. Although, again, I haven't done these in one of these like impromptu in a while. Marcus H just said, "Just found this, alas." So I don't really know how people are finding it. It'd be really cool for Google to give us that kind of information, saying you did this and someone found it in their stream because someone bumped it, or this happened, or I don't know how much secret sauce that is, Google, but it'd be interesting to know. Then that way everybody can make a hangout that best fits people's schedules, because there's that live element and there's recorded element, and I don't really know. If you do one like this where everyone's jumping in and jumping out, the live part becomes fun. If you watch it later, it can be fun, but then there's something missing. There's something, I always like it when you hit play and they're live right then. So there have been many times, though, I've hit play and I then ping the person as they're talking. They're like, dude, that was like hours ago. Or that was yesterday. I was like, oh, is it? I'm like, I thought it was so real. I thought it was now. But it wasn't. So, all right, cool. Thanks, everyone, for joining me. Scott Wilson earlier, Angie Person. I'm going to leave people out. Paul Hanna. Down under, and Nick Scholl with his cool firework pic. Make sure you go see Nick Scholl's firework pictures, or you're gonna miss out on some cool. Are they auto awesome at least?
No.
Are they story form, or what? Are they video? Oh, you guys saw the drone firework video, right? That Chris Lang put up. I don't know who created it, but that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
Mark is in the stream. You could find Mark. Is it Barris? Barris?
Yeah.
Okay, like almost like bare ass. Okay.
Exactly.
All right, you're like, I've never heard that one before. Kill me. He's like, I'll never talk to you again, Rappaport, after that one. And Jeffrey Powers, the Geekazine, up there in Wisconsin, right?
Yep, so. Madison, Wisconsin. Think Magazine, put in a geek, you've got Geekazine. And I'll be heading your way in I think November is the next time I go to New York.
Nice. As long as it's not Thanksgiving week, I'm good. And we're not buried in 5 days.
We're going up for a friend who's gonna be in the New York Marathon.
Nice. That's always fun. Oh, so it'll probably be the beginning of November, so it's not too cold. I think that's usually end of October, beginning of November. Yeah. All right, cool. Matt Rappaport, you can find me, Hangout Conversations, youtube.com/Hangout Conversations, youtube.com, New York Actor M11, plus Matthew Rappaport, at New York Actor. Just Google me, right? Seriously.
Ocho.
What are we talking? Ocho. And Ocho, check that out. I don't know. It's only iOS right now or iPad. There's a picture. And I actually have to. I close the camera. Oh, yeah. I have to close the camera. I'll take another one. Take pictures of all, I guess, because everyone watching is like, what's that sound?
Do it again.
Do it again. Oh no.
I can't hold this face forever.
Your computer is not buffering. You're like, what? Too many clicks. Oh, this is the click part of the show. If you want to go to the bathroom. This is the robot. Doing the robot. Feeling the groove. Whoa. Yeah, alright. I think I took enough pictures. View photos. Rappaport. I'm out like I'm off like a prom dress, right? Alright.
Yeah.
Thanks guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
No problem.
We'll be on live one day. That's the laggy part.
Madison, Wisconsin. You must see Michelle Lee when you watch her Channel 3 News or Channel 3000.
Yeah, we've talked. Actually, she interviewed me when I got to the last